Very verily, so too did the stream started.
Am I centered?
Huh? Yeah.
All
Sure
that
are.
touches mine.
Oh goodness, I just kicked over that book. Hey everybody, I'm gonna slide into this frame here. Put on my headphones very gingerly. How you guys doing today? You guys doing alright? You guys having a good day?
Yeah.
Feeling okay?
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Hey man, don't look at that guy. But you did right, D&D times stats now.
Oh well.
What does
Life.
that mean?
Life finds a way.
Oh.
Stats! Maybe I'm just doing it in an accent.
Yeah,
you don't know. You don't know me.
D&D stats.
It's fucking stats now.
Let's get statted.
Let's get fucking statted.
Funk's home, brother. Fucking get got it.
Alright, hey everybody, I'm Soul Rose. These are my friends, unfortunately. Welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is everything sound-wise set up? I feel like...
Well,
Matt.
well.
Yeah.
Nobody makes that sound.
Everybody makes that.
No one makes that sound.
I
Not a
make
single
that sound.
human being in history has ever made that sound. But that's okay, because it seems to be a thing now.
Sometimes you're just like, gonna go up again.
Get to position here.
Wow.
So, how you guys doing? We had a quite unsuccessful gem farm, and I'm going to use that liberally. I didn't get dick.
To be fair, we got gems.
That's true, we did collect gems, but of course,
Yeah, I thought
RNGs.
you prayed to the Palico Rally gods and you got all the Palico Rally.
I actually didn't get any Palico Rally the whole time.
Okay, is this what we're gonna do today?
I don't even think I got Meowster, and that's the same
Got some
thing, right?
decent shit, but nothing.
Meowster is.
Is Palico Rally? Yeah, I didn't get it.
Did you guys bro brigade?
We did.
We did. We actually split up, and we had to bro brigade 2 people at the same
I don't
time.
know why it's been doing that.
I don't know. Apparently, they have an issue with their actual multiplayer platform. However, they set it up that it's very common. You'll get like an error code that's like 53- something something F, and that just means that for whatever reason it doesn't link up to another console. So yeah, apparently it just fucking hates me. But then like when I was going solo, it worked just fine. So I don't know.
Same thing with us. We got in there and we
That
just
fuck.
How did bro brigade go?
We had no deaths. The
No
Bro
deaths.
Brigade was successful.
Yay,
so successful, in fact, that we were able to split. I'm hopeful for the next time we Bro Brigade, and we all each just take one person ourselves.
I thought
It's
that I
like
was
the
gonna,
system.
you know.
Where's your buddy?
I honestly thought I walked into a fucking trap because the minute I got in there, it was like fainted, and I was like, as soon as it started, I was like, oh.
Well, I
no.
just beat the guy we were with in the face.
Yeah, we were kicking the crap out of Nirkagante, just the 2 of us, and he runs in, dead.
Immediately.
And he had pukey armor on, fighting Nirkagante. Like, listen, there's only one motherfucker at this table that can do that.
I think we all did that.
It ain't me.
It ain't me. It ain't me. Well, that is good.
But that, and he would come into the room and just sit at the corner. And
The bro brigade person?
yeah.
Really
And the other thing
scary.
is, I put the fucking monster to sleep and we're setting up bombs and he just runs in, goes real quick, and then he puts his thing away and I fucking walk over and just beat the shit out of him.
And then he gets tackled and dies.
This does not sound like successful bro brigade.
Doesn't matter, we saved
I
him.
didn't see anything.
We saved him.
Did you beat him?
Saved him
Yeah.
from himself.
Sometimes you need to take
Bros
the fire away from the child
He used almost all the
and
cards.
slap him and say
Bros
no.
will beat bros.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I think they do. That's
Sometimes,
literally.
bro, you need to bro down.
Get
Bro
bro
out.
down for midterms.
What
You
is
know?
this nervy?
You gotta bro down, bro. You gotta bro that's broing out, you gotta bro him down.
Bruh.
You gotta come at him bro ways.
What is broing entail?
Dude, bro, I'm telling you, you gotta bro him down. If you don't down a bro that's broing out, he's gonna brawl out.
You'll end up browning out, and that's not good.
Yeah. You wanna brown out when you're broing out, bro.
So, now that happened,
I don't like bro brigade anymore. It's very aggressive.
what are you on about?
Bros, come on, bros. Bros, you knows. The bros knows.
So, I guess that's it. I guess that's all that happened.
What happened?
Yesterday was a successful Monster Hunter, and today will be hopefully a successful D&D. Can you successfully D&D?
Yeah.
I assume that if you just play, then you are successfully D&D,
Can
regardless.
MMO.
Can you beat an MMO? Yes, actually you can. it just unfortunately lets you keep, self-flagellating for the remainder of the time.
I like D&D.
When was the last time you ever heard
You'd be
somebody
D&D
reading
too.
EverQuest? When was the last time you ever heard somebody playing EverQuest?
Ooh. Ooh. All right. So last time on Dragon Ball Z, our intrepid band of adventurers, we're doing some recon, some reconnoitering, if you will.
I won't, but
Fine, don't, Jesus. No one's making it. We had 2 individuals try to seek guidance from the gods, which I made a mistake on, because obviously there's no statue of Fowry in this place. It is the statue of Nyrina, the female halfling goddess. But it's a rough cut statue, so, put what you will into it.
Fabulous.
It's kind of hard to see what it is since they're all wearing robes anyway, and don't really have good features. But yep, you guys went ahead and did that. You guys went on a bender, had some shenanigans. You are under the impression you got the information you needed, so that's good.
I like the wording of that. You're under the
Hey man, when I'm blacked out, I remember all kinds of shit that didn't happen.
yeah, but we broke even. Pretty cool with that.
Oh yeah, gold wise.
Maybe you broke even because you never spent any gold.
That's
I woke up littered in gold.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it might have been your own.
he had it sprinkled on him like they were cheap harlequins in the back alley of the docks.
Worth.
Worth, indeed. And then on the other side, we had Lucrezia, who went ahead and went to a criminal boss. I'll call him. He's you went to the Wheezing Shark and you went ahead and interviewed or spoke to the father. The father. Yes.
Does not sound like that
No,
ever.
he doesn't. And you made a little bit of a deal with him for some information, and he was happy to provide to you. You went back later that night, stopped in, got the stuff you needed, and then you headed back to the mysterious chimney. Everyone, you slept in mysterious chimney by yourself. You were the only one there because these two went.
Sea marble.
What?
You sea marble.
Sea marble?
Yeah, hashtag sea marble.
I don't think that's.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Marble around in the seafloor.
Mr. Theta was meandering underneath the ocean. And by the time he got back out, it was dark. He attempted to regroup when he heard a flash of lightning and began kind of following some similar creatures to himself. And that is where we begin. Waking up in the back alleys of the docks. Littered in gold, miserable and hungover. Smelling of sea salt and alcohol and sweat and all kinds of goodies.
Well, a lot of that's me.
That is where we begin. The morning air is crisp. There's a light breeze coming in over the sea. It's a little bit refreshing until the occasional seaweed and sea foam mixed with, dead fish hits you. Instinctive retching ensues. Yep.
Excellent.
So, where are we going?
The church?
There are no churches.
No, the oldest one.
Where would the oldest one be?
We should get some water. Or more alcohol.
Probably more. Take up all this coin.
Yeah.
How do I feel like I can work through all this at me? While we're scooping up all of our loose change,
Uh-huh.
I just want to take a quick second to check my bag to make sure the conch shell is there.
Yep. There's nothing to be messed with.
Alright, so that cabinet place or chimney? That one?
Let's
Table.
let's just see if we can find somewhere closer. But yeah, so we'll make our way towards the mysterious chimney.
Okay.
But if we can find a tavern in something that would reasonably offer water, then we'd like to stop there to get something to drink.
Stop there. On the docks there are barrels that collect runoff that you can grab, as well as there are barrels set out for the dock workers to use as they do their rounds. Kind of like set up sporadically with like little cups or whatever, or ladles for drinking.
Ladle coop.
I'll ladle in some shit into a water skin and just start chugging it.
Just start chugging it. All right. Yep. Easy enough. As you go by, you notice a couple distraught looks. Oh, it's over. And then they keep going.
What?
We got wine now. We got wine now. Yep.
Oh, now it's water.
Oh, now it's water. Fuck
Now it's
it.
water.
Now it's a mother.
Cold Coors Light. That's all I make my water into.
Tall frosted Budweiser.
So you guys collect some water on the docks. You notice you're about midway, probably through the city. I don't think either of you traverse the docks very much, but you seem like almost epicenter, like you've been hanging out in the middle of the city.
What do you remember from last night?
I remember throwing peanuts,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember
A dwarf.
dwarf, a human, and an elf.
Yeah.
It's a weird combination.
Sounds like a joke.
But the bar was really nice.
Do you remember how we got there?
I think peanuts.
And
No.
the elf was really nice.
I don't really love. I just remember she kept bringing us drinks every time we finished.
Yeah,
Service was impeccable.
absolutely.
Actually, all their faces are kind of blurry. And your many features.
But they knew where they knew where the lady that we're looking for is. Miss Kensington. Kellington. Miss Kellington. They know where she was. They said she was in the oldest church. So where's she gonna find that?
On this continent?
In the town, I think.
Well, the old guy that used to do the medical, or does the medical stuff, said there was no church.
Yeah.
You just went to that hill and you...
So the
So-
next oldest church. Unless there's another one like north of here.
Go figure it out.
Yeah.
Find a map.
Let's get some more water.
You guys are just hanging out, just sucking it down, and then slinging it down, hanging out, talking. For the most part, as the morning sun rises on the horizon, you got that kind of like bluish hue to everything right now, and it hasn't yet crested to bright, brilliant yellow, blinding pain yet. So
We're gonna
still
make-
not like twilight.
we're gonna
Nice.
make Whatever. As we continue talking, we're gonna make our way back towards the mysterious chimney.
Okay. So you head out. You basically end up going south and then heading west.
So it's going to be a church that houses refugees.
Something. Whatever the oldest one is. It can't be Sedla. They came in later. There might be like a smaller town around here that used to have a church.
Take me to church. People in churches.
It's a good place to hide somebody.
Yeah.
A nun or something. And then nun factories.
One of them, they're nun factories.
And I heard they build them with hammers and chisels. Yeah. The nuns, not the
Oh.
That's how they get so rigid.
Okay. And on the other end are intrepid Lucretia.
It's a me.
Awakes in a nice slumber, a nice comfy bed.
Exact opposite of
You,
you guys.
Pull back the covers, and your feet touch cold ground, cold sort of like wooden ground of the in room.
Bird raps on your window.
You hear outside. You hear the faint little whistling of birds in the morning. Beep, boop, beep, beep. They peep.
The stray monkey.
You wake up, you laugh.
Sounds ridiculous. No.
It's a wonderful day for pie. For pie.
There's just one of those standing toads just at your window looking in.
I'm on the second floor. What the fuck is happening?
It's a familiar.
Yeah, it's all
Somebody's using the eyeballs.
God,
To your eyeballs. Okay. What are you doing?
Oh, I want to go get them some hangover food.
Okay. So you
Somewhere.
get dressed. You head downstairs. Relatively empty this time of the morning. It's just the employees seemingly cleaning up, getting everything kind of like settled in. It smells like fresh, sort of like lemon scented. Most likely whatever they're using to clean everything down with. They stop and they greet you, friend, like nicely, as you skip on by, because I have a Disney theme going in my head now, so now you're skipping. I apologize in advance. As you go. Fucking 16-year-old skipping down the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
The cats.
I am in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
The cats are meowing. Meow, meow, meow. The birds are singing.
So you exit out, avoiding everybody, and then head out into the streets. And where do you want to attempt to get? Just anywhere.
Wherever I think would be open this early. That would really be like greasy, just like greasy food.
Just greasy food.
Yeah.
I mean,
Meats. What about those places?
well, I mean, you just came out of an establishment that sells food.
This early though? I didn't know if they'd be open.
No, but you can ask them. You are staying there.
Ask them to what? Cook when they're closed.
They're not closed. They're open.
Okay.
Steer's chimney is open.
Okay, well then I'll ask them.
You run outside and then you stop and you go, wait a minute, turn around, go back inside.
That swells on and shit.
Yeah. When you start talking to the lady there, she's like, yeah, we can put something together for you if you'd like.
How much will that be?
Well, I mean, it is after hours, so like 6 copper, probably.
Damn.
I'll do that.
Okay.
And I'll throw in a big 8 cop. What is it?
Okay. She collects it all up from you. She heads into the back. She kind of like converses with some of her other employees, and they begin kind of like continuing the job as she disappears for a minute, and you can kind of hear some fire get started up, and you just kind of pop a squat.
Look, it's only 3 copper. I said 6. She gave me 8.
We're balling out of control right now. Do you not understand?
You paid 200 gold for that bottle.
Yeah, he's out of that stuff now.
I'll sit and wait for the foods, and I'll wait to see if they come in.
Okay. The food will be beating them out, but she brings out all the food, and you guys arrive shortly there afterwards. Walking through the city, this morning you see people kind of getting up. For the most part, it was relatively dead outside, but the docks are the first things that kind of get up, along with the slums district, as a lot of those people shuffle their way into the docks to become workers. Their little NPC class changes as they cross the finish.
And it's the threshold.
Link. Little
I would
Sims.
like to also have 2 waters for each of them.
Okay, sure. As you guys cross Monolith Street, the main sort of thoroughfare that crosses through the city, again, it's empty. It's surprising to see it kind of like vacant this time of the morning, and you end up just heading back towards the mysterious chimney. Yep. You enter inside to the warm hearth and the smell of delicious food. Though it's kind of chilly this morning, they haven't really started the fireplace yet or anything like that, so it's like that early morning chill that's starting to settle in as the seasons change.
You want to go ice fishing?
But you see a loo, you see a feast, you see some waters.
Are you still dreaming?
We have information.
How you feeling, guys?
I feel like I got a good information. Sit down. Alright.
We gotta find that bar.
Alright. So, I'll let you guys eat, and then we can exchange information.
You get the evening.
And I think I probably got some big small toasters.
Okay. Assume away.
street with him.
And the centaur hit you.
Please
Oh,
don't.
man.
He gets up. Oh.
Okay.
Somebody.
Sorry, losing, honey.
What the fuck are you?
You're centaur kohai in crime.
Okay.
So, on our escapades, we ended up at some bar with casts all along the wall, animal heads, and we were apparently playing a drinking game called Drink the Beer
Yes, we won.
against a dwarf, a human, and there was a elf serving us. But anyway.
There's a
Uh,
halfling there too at the end of the bar.
Let's see. And we found out that the lady we're looking for is in a church, but she left here beforehand, so it must be an old church, one that's not in town.
It's at the oldest church in the area.
Would I have any clue? Like church, old church in the area?
No.
And
Would it sound like Hostilier?
No.
No?
I mean, the oldest, technically, chronologically, the oldest church in town would be the Settler Community Compound, has a place of worship.
Okay. I don't say that out loud. I just- Go
yeah,
ahead.
the oldest church in town, well, not in town, in the area. So, I mean, it could be the whole of whatever towns are outside Patella.
Mhm. I'm just-
I think there's a coastal one north of here, south of here.
I need a map.
We need a map.
Okay. What else?
Small lake.
Really it.
It's the lead.
That, and I won a lot of money.
Come on, man, jeez.
Playing drinking beer.
Yeah. Shh.
Drink the beer. I want to be playing Drink the Beer. No one ever lets me play nothing.
It's a fun game. I figure it's a lead. Pursue it. I mean, she's either in the castle or she's not.
Was that all the info you had?
I mean, I don't know how often you get hammered and try and collect information.
Usually if I'm getting hammered, it's to try to not collect information. So,
I think we did pretty good.
I think we did. Pretty good.
we did a good number. Okay, well, let's compare notes then, because the information I got is like the exact opposite of what that was. So I went and talked to a source of mine. You guys actually met him before, and he told me that he had eyes in the city at the time, and that he saw the queen being escorted out of the city, the Western Farmers Gate, right?
He
Like
saw or his eyes saw?
his eyes saw. And then there was one guard in particular that's not a guard now. He's been since promoted, but he actually like saw with his own eyes where the queen went, and he might know where she's being taken.
So like a captain like Bayless?
It is Cavill, Lyric Cavill.
So the
The,
captain of the guard of everything.
Yeah.
The captain's captain.
So
The constable, yeah.
Yeah, high constable.
the problem about talking to him about this is though that he got promoted right after, so he probably, if we try to talk to him about it, he's probably either going to lie or get mad, because he probably has a vested interest in keeping this quiet because he's close to know he's super loyal to the king. So if we could just outright ask him, or we could try to see if there's anything he would want, possibly. There's a couple different options we have here. Because,
I don't think there would be anything he'd want. I mean,
well, so I feel like we could try to either gather information about him try to figure this guy out a little bit and see, like, get to know him sort of, and try to figure out what he might want, or like what he could possibly want, or what we could possibly do for him. There's another side option where I found out where his house is and his schedule, and we could always go in and do some reconnaissance on his house and try to figure out what he would want that way, and then almost not bribe him, but like kind of use that information to
Blackmail him.
No, not like use the information we gather on him, we like tailor it to him and try to figure out like not blackmail.
Well, like Tanner said, he's a high constable. I mean, he's got money, he's got prestige.
Yeah.
I don't think a ragtag group of 4 adventurers is going to be able to offer him.
Throwing all that away for a political upheaval of the Queen coming back.
Yeah.
And the Duke, essentially, if you find out that his sister was pretty much kidnapped and stuck somewhere.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is the only way we're going to be able to figure out where she went, because he was the one who saw exactly, and he probably at this point knows where she is, seeing as he's really close to the king. I don't think she's in the city. I think that we would have heard, like,
Well, which way did she get taken out of the city?
the western farmers gate. But the thing is, once you go out that gate, there's a bunch of different places she could go.
Well, what if one of the places she could go has a very old church? Even if it's not a church anymore, if it's ruins of a church.
I don't know, but I feel like we need to pinpoint before we just like,
Right.
yeah. Especially with this Lizardman thing, we can't afford to be going out willy-nilly.
I don't think
Or
it's a
we
bad
could just
idea.
give the information to the Duke.
Could do that too.
Well, I mean, what would we go with? Hey, we know your sister's not here, but we don't know where she is.
Well, no. If we
We give
can,
him all the information that's present.
yeah.
The person that does know where it is, he is the most tactical general in this whole kingdom.
I think so. Is it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's probably got at least some leverage on this guy, more than we can. I mean, we'd have to break into his house and hope he's got it written down somewhere.
No, but
I mean, if I kidnapped the queen, and I wouldn't have any work on it.
so.
I like that idea. Let's check a map before we even hope to leave. Actually, let's not even leave. Let's find us a map, see if anywhere outside the Western Farmers Gate has an possibly old church, and then we'll just let the Duke know what we found and see where he wants to go from there.
I don't feel like it's finishing the job though if we don't.
Well, he only asked us to find information.
Yeah, but he wants to know where his sister is,
Right.
which
And
we did not get.
Well, he also hasn't had any leads in
years.
Yeah.
15 years.
And I'm sure he'd rather handle it than leave it to us. I mean, if we stumbled upon her, that'd be fantastic, but I don't think he expected anything more than a report
I
back.
think we should see it through. We don't really have anything else going on right now except for the lizard man thing.
Where's your robot friend?
Where does they go?
I don't know. Out of character, I don't want to like think about it or go exploring after it. So I'm just kind of ignoring it. Maybe I don't know. You want to go look at the sea floor?
I
That
guess
makes
it'll take a
sense.
while.
But he always like goes off and does stuff. So I don't think he left the city.
No, the city. Well, we'll keep an eye out for him.
Should we go look on my map to see if he's looking at mine?
Well, let's go find him out first.
Alright.
Well, we gotta find a choreographer or whatever they're called.
Cartographer?
That one.
I was like, my dance?
Operate.
It's okay. Yeah, we'll look for.
It's
Well,
not great.
is there just like a map anywhere here?
Yeah, you just go on
Like
Google and
Would the
map.
Adventurers Guild have one?
No. Well, they would have some, yeah, but not for you guys to use.
Okay.
I'm sure
There's very few people that probably make.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a
Well, no, not to
Hand-drawn
borrow,
process.
Like, go look at in there. Just like go in and look, not like take away. All right. Well, where in town would have?
You tell me.
Do we-
Also,
is there anyone in town that has cartography, or not cartography, but nautical maps and shit?
I do have one thing. If we got caught breaking in, there's already one person that knows that we were looking into this and looking for the High Constable. That's your friend that you took me to.
Yeah, near us.
And the father. He kind of encouraged me to break in.
What?
Well, he just he just gave me.
Is that your source?
I already told you yes.
You told me you had a source.
I
that
said you
you
met him,
I've met a couple people.
the father,
I don't think I would.
but
He's a slumlord. Well,
he's not. It's
he's a lord of the slums.
he's a crime.
He asked
Organized
us.
crime boss.
He asked us to cut a head off and deliver it
Oh, by the way, he said, "Don't ever do that again."
to him. Hey, I don't know what he wants. He told us to take his head. I took
Very
the head.
specifically, as open with, "Please tell your friend never do that again."
Well, obviously I'm not going to. I don't intend to interact with this guy ever again anyway.
What?
He's a slumlord.
He keeps crime in check in the city
By perpetuating it.
in small pockets. It's not like it's over.
That doesn't make it better. If anything, it makes it worse because then it's calculated. And he targets the people whose lives are going to be ruined instead of giving them the chance to
Listen.
not ruin it.
I got good info. I'm just saying.
You have info. the same
That's pretty
as
good
us.
info. You got she's in an old church somewhere.
And you've got a, hey, I have guys that told me he's here. Go break into
And
his
I-
house.
He didn't say break into his house. He was just like, "Hey, this is the schedule. Here's his house layout. This is the deal. You can deal with it when you want."
Didn't you just say he encouraged you to
No,
break
he
in?
didn't really encourage me. He just gave me the means to if I would like to.
I don't trust him. I don't like him.
Why? Why is it on top of it?
No.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't go well for him.
I don't think that's the case. Okay. Insight check. Can I insight him?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, that's a 2.
I'm confident that I can take
I just wanted to see like how.
The further,
Do it. I believe in you.
Okay, so we're gonna look at a map and
uh,
try to figure out where to go, right?
persuasion.
No, I was a 2.
Huh, he's a 3.
Plus cost, right?
Yeah. What's yours plus?
You find plus 5.
Mine's also plus 5. 8.
7. This is a good D&D interaction. All
Good
right.
job, guys. Way to go. You've accomplished nothing.
I totally believe I can take him.
Listen, is it not all D&D? It really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
We're gonna look at a map
Let's go see if we can find either a nautical map maker or a cartographer or
to see.
something.
We're doing this to see which way she could have gone, right?
Well, she went out the western pharmacy,
Yeah.
right?
And like see where the biggest.
We're just gonna see if there's any towns in that direction, and then if we can learn some information about what's in them, and then we'll let the Duke know, and we'll just go do a
I
quest.
still think that we should try to see this through.
I don't mind seeing it through, but
how about this? If we find a location that may
Makes sense.
make sense, we could see if there's any quests for the Adventurers Guild there.
well,
Look
even
at
failing
that.
that, we have those open Hunters Quest guild.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They
Or
said
Hunters Guild quests.
hunters.
Not the Adventurers Guild, Hunters Guild.
We
The-
haven't
the
checked in there in a
Panther
while though. That seems to be dead. We should probably check in there.
No, it was a standing there. As many of those as we could kill. Yeah.
I heard those things are huge.
Yeah.
I think you. Oh wait, we saw a print.
We're walking.
All right. To the map, please.
To a map, please.
No, 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 no,
I'm
no.
going to sneak into an alley, piss all over the wall. Like,
Oh, okay. I was like, we're gonna sneak in. They probably already
I'm gonna sneak into an alley. Be all over the place.
Okay.
Roll stealth for pissing.
I don't think he cares about this stuff.
All right. So, where do you guys want to try?
Can I think of anywhere in the city since I've been here always? No.
So, map making is a very difficult task.
Yes.
And is usually not something that's just willy-nilly like,
So that's-
I'm gonna make my own maps today.
So that's why you're saying like there's not an abundance of maps in the city.
No, it is a very niche and very rare and very time-consuming thing. There are places you can go that you have access to.
Wait.
I would like to check. There's 2 places that come to mind.
Okay,
A
go.
library of some manner,
Seaway.
or somewhere in the docks there might be a guy that makes nautical maps for ships.
What do we need the nautical portion?
What?
Why do we need?
No, we don't need nautical maps, but
If he
if
has
he's
nautical-
got the ability to make nautical maps, there's a chance he may understand or know how to do land cartography. I think a library is our best bet to start. If nothing else, they'd have one just for the sake of having it.
Yep.
But
Library would be the best one. Okay.
they would store that information.
Yeah. But I don't know where the library is. In the Arcanum district?
It's in the Arcanum.
You fucking Arcanum district Arcanum. Shit's like standard international. International standard of measurement.
Yeah.
Technically, it's not international standard. It's done
Are you
down.
talking right now? Or you said no? Okay. I didn't think so.
I don't know where this hand on the head thing comes from. That bugs me.
I read it in a book.
Would you rather we do this?
If you want shit thrown at you, yeah, I'm down.
I read it. You read the same fucking book when they do that.
That's true.
I
That's true.
don't know where it comes from. I just know about it. I think you told me about it. That's why I know.
So there's an incubus, and there's some things that happen, and they do this. It's out of character.
I didn't know it came from a damn manga.
No, it came from a book.
A book,
I
okay.
said book.
From you manches.
Yeah, it came from one of the Dresden Files.
Oh.
Very
Then
serious.
why don't you know?
Huh?
You know.
I did. I was just like, I don't know where you guys have started doing it from.
I got it from him.
We're gonna do it.
I learned from watching you.
Yeah, I literally did. That's what he told me to do. Alright, let's shall.
Let's shall away.
Shallots. Alright, title.
Where are we going?
We're going to the library,
Oh, in the Mages Quarter or whatever.
yeah, to look at maps.
You're going to the compendium is the name of the location. Writing that down. You just whatevered me.
Not like whatever, just like, yeah, sure. That's fine.
No.
Oh no!
You can't take that
They're rolling
back.
down the
You
hill
know what
on
you did.
Lucrezia. Her legs are broken.
So, you guys exit out of the, having eaten up, feeling a little bit better. You, yeah, I was going to say a little bit is being generous. It's only been maybe like 20, 30 minutes.
You
To
are
block
not
the
allowed
sun.
to say you wish you had magic.
Magic, shut up. Like magic to do, what would that be?
For what?
Outside? To cure hangover?
There is no cure.
Oh really?
Ever.
Oh no. You
Even-
can cure
even
that
divinity.
without hangover.
I guess technically greater restoration would work.
Probably,
It
but
only
I won't
has a
allow
curse,
it.
though.
It'll never work.
It's a curse. It's a curse of
The magic just goes over and then it bounces off because it's like, you did this to yourself.
I should have drank more water before
Same
I went to
for-
sleep.
Same could be said for death, though.
Yeah, in some cases. So you guys exit out. You head south along the wall. You bank east towards Monolith, and then southeast again for entrance into the District Arcanum. Currently blocked by 4 guards who have seen you a number of times by now, and kind of they eye you inscrutably, but then they allow you passage through. I don't know, is the best way I can think to describe it. As you pass by, they seem to kind of just keep an eye on you. Generally, there doesn't seem to be any movement going on right now. It's too early in the morning for a lot of the students to be learning. Plus, if you remember, they come from all over. They don't stay in the district. While there is a dormitory there, it's not always used. You enter into the small, sort of court square that makes up the District Arcanum. On your right-hand side is the Arcane Athenaeum, where all studies go on, which is where you've been through with the teleportation circles. Directly in front of you, you see a long sort of square building, old brick style. That is where the dormitory is, and off to the left-hand side, which you've never been inside, is a series of almost like the building is getting bigger as it goes up, if that makes sense. It's small roof,
Like a
bigger.
ziggurat almost.
Yeah, and that's the compendium. You doot over to it. Got it.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and bust out my go to the NPC list real quick.
I see that in the holes. Electrical theory. Fucking library with all those candlelit fuckers. Just weird sections of fucking books stacked on top of each other.
Oh no, I'm thinking of that one. That one. Yeah, no.
That's much
Punch the word off to death.
It's much nicer.
Hmm?
The Kingdom Hearts one's much nicer, but the one I'm thinking of is so totally haphazard. There's literally bookcases put on cockeyed between 2 other bookcases. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. There's a bookcase,
Oh.
and then there's another bookcase on top of it, at a crosshatch. books all over the floor. And the arms are coming out.
One book mix.
Bimmix.
Yeah, that's what I was scared
You say Bimix?
Bimmix. Or mooks.
Book sounds like
Very good.
a slur.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost. Just a couple syllables off. It's okay, one of my coworkers is flying. Yeah, so we'll go in this compendium and we'll be able to find a map and probably get information on whatever towns we manage to find on the map. And then
Should we have gone by one of the guilds first to check in the quests to see how they like line up?
we can take care of that.
We'll just try.
No, if we can't find anything at the Adventurers Guild besides, kill lizard people, or pretty much, I think that's the majority of their stuff right now is
Info, murder, recon.
the Adventurers Guild is probably going, the other one, the Hunters Guild, is probably going to be on very limited, or it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a war.
Figure out.
I'm gonna go back and try to remember what quests they had.
I haven't seen anything.
Do you prefer Leo?
What?
Your name.
Oh!
Do you want us to call you Leo instead of Maul?
You can call me whatever you want.
What'd you call it?
Whatever makes you feel most comfortable.
No, no.
She wants to call you Richard.
Yeah, Richard. That's a noble title where I come from.
Richard!
Aren't you just from here?
No.
I spend most of my time
There we go. This little laptop is freezing.
Oh, okay. You say little laptop. Oh, there's the quest.
You can warm it up.
Nope.
I'll test them out. Interchange. See what.
You do whatever you need to do. You do you.
Yeah, all the other ones have to do with the only lizard man related pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the escort to the capital.
So how big are their tails?
Well, it depends on which ones you're fighting. We fought one that was very robust, and his tail was as equal. But there was another one that was further in the back, a little bit smaller.
So there's one that's small and then everything else is either huge to ginormous.
Well, I treated arms based on humanoids, Elves have slender ones, dwarves have robust ones. Where did you pull that out from?
So as you approach the stone steps that lead up to this almost wraparound balcony on the front of this building, you see almost these arched cathedralian type doors that make their way in front of you, and there are these stone reliefs on the outside, probably every 10 or so feet, of these suits of armor that are just kind of standing there in various positions holding weaponry. And as you approach the front door, there's this almost grinding of stone, and you notice that the armor that flanks on either side, their heads have fully turned towards you.
I don't think I've ever been here before.
You've never been here before.
That's cool.
It might not be.
Can we seek entry? Is there someone we could
Can
talk
we
to?
just go? Keep going?
Can you?
Is the door open or shut?
The doors are closed right now.
Oh, knock on it.
You rap on the doors, both heads sort of towering, watch intently, and you hear this small shuffle of feet. So loud.
I'll look up at the heads.
And then you hear some jiggling of the door handle, and then it opens very slowly. And for you, specifically, you just see darkness beyond. for you, you're almost like you're slightly below as this like portly looking dwarven gentleman with these big sort of like cheeks and like a grayish short cropped beard around his face, bald on top, and he's just like,
Oh, we're here to look at maps and information about the local areas. I'm Tam.
you just see this kind of like rosy cheeked, old, like probably a middle aged dwarven gentleman kind of like peep up at you. These big doughy like amber colored eyes.
Did they attack?
Yes, they attack.
Oh, what's the trigger so we don't do that?
Oh, there's no trigger. Just when we tell them to attack or somebody walks in uninvited.
Oh.
Good.
We don't listen. Hi.
Hello.
How do we get in there?
He opens the door. Like this.
Easy as access ever. Would you be able to help us? What is your name?
Oh, I'm Gremic.
Right.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the compendium. Tam.
We would like to look at a map of this and like the surrounding area and possibly nautical maps.
Well, first, young lady, you should introduce yourself.
I'm Lucrezia.
I'm Gremic. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Gremic.
Hi.
That's Maul. And that's Tam.
I'm a Tam. Tam.
Yeah, Tam.
Ma and Tam and
Blue. Lucrezia.
got it.
Oh, okay. I think you're communist.
Well, let's see if we can't get you all squared away. Now, please be quiet. It is early in the morning, and the matron will be very upset
Matron.
if you wake her up. Yes, the matron, the lady who runs the compendium.
Who's that?
It's my lady. It's our lady.
What's her name?
I will let her introduce herself should you meet her.
I put math for. Okay. Spelled it way wrong. So I put an H.
Well,
Lead the way.
excellent. He seems to he turns around and he begins walking down. It's a short little hallway that you seem to be mostly focused in as the doors lead into this almost like T-shaped hallway. One goes further in and he's like, ah, yes. And then he turns towards the center and he begins kind of like lumbering. He has this like large side-to-side walk with his wide, massive shoulders. He's
Like a
small.
waddle?
Yeah, he's like small and portly, but he kind of like just like, all right, let's do this. And he begins walking back, and then you see him pull out some keys.
Cool.
Chink, 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 chink. What's that one? This one. And then he puts it in the door, and he begins to he spins it, and then you see him spin it backwards. He spins it one more time. Closes, puts it back on the belt loop, drops it on the ground. Ah, rubbish. Puts it back on his belt. Opens the door and there's like this little and lights begin to come on the inside.
Like candles?
Like little candles, yeah, little flames, little braziers. And you get this wafting sort of it's almost like wind buffets against you for a moment. And as it does, it hits you, and you get like that sort of like stale paper and smell. A little bit of dust, and he leads you inside, and as the lights begin to illuminate, you're in this massive like library complex. There are shelves containing just rows and rows of scrolls and books and like tomes, and as you begin to like kind of look at it, it becomes kind of dizzying as it seems to be set up in a labyrinth style. It doesn't seem to have it's not just rows of books.
There's
It
no
seems
Dewey
to
Decimal System here.
No, they seem to curve and turn in every direction. And as you begin to look up, you realize that it begins to get taller. And then bookshelves begin to kind of arch inwards and meet in almost like a dome-style top. And there are books floating between them. And begin to put themselves away.
Very quietly, I'd like to say to him, do we want to do any like research on him? Like on the Kellingtons or
You would have to look up dam in history.
no, the people at work, but the queen and her family and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not from Dayton, right?
Who?
The queen.
No. Queen Kellington? No.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
She's not. Ellie is.
Right.
Yeah. Do we want to do that?
What you said, maps?
Yes.
Oh, let's follow me. Don't get lost now. He begins walking. Don't want you to get hit by the Minotaur.
What? Doesn't
What? I'm sorry. Anyway, that's.
I'll speed up.
oh, you speak up. I think you can speak up.
He begins. He basically takes like a leftward path and then begins walking back the way you came. And as he walks around the door frame and around the little corner of the wall, there's no hallway there.
Why is there a Minotaur?
Oh, it protects the library, of course. He just keeps walking with peppy steps.
This is why people don't read books.
Just out of curiosity, does the Minotaur read book?
Of course he does.
That's good. Breaking barriers.
But he leads you past, and you notice that the door is a flat plane that seems to be just sitting like an arched doorway in the middle of this room.
Just trust in him that he'll lead the way.
And he ultimately takes you down a couple more twists and turns to the point where you could be anywhere now in this thing. And he leads you into a small sort of arched chamber with a pedestal in the center, and there seem to be scrolls kind of interspersed throughout this area, throughout the walls basically. And there are a lot of empty gap spots, but he brings it up and then he's like, somewhere in here.
Do you like think about it when they come to you, or do you have to call them?
I have to go get them.
Oh, you have to. That was.
I don't have anything
Cooler
written
than that.
down. Then he begins to walk his way through and kind of like, no, I put those there yesterday. And he begins pouring through looking for the map.
Is there anything like floating in here, or magical and cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the scrolls put themselves back. If they're in like
Okay.
carts or if they're in like little like bookshelf return carts, they just kind of like float up and go.
What if I feel like I'm trying to call one too?
Try to whistle to one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
good
enough.
book call.
I don't know. That sounded
Funny.
sloppy.
A book club. Is there anything we can do to help?
Now, if you want to start on that side, we can
Oh, we
meet in the middle.
Oh, okay. I know where
They're just rolled up scrolls.
Okay. I'll do that.
All right, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Who wants to betray me?
I'll help out the dwarven fellow. 'Cause I would like to ask him a question.
Go ahead.
It was a 14.
Oh, I got an 11 helping him, but do you happen to have any books about magical items? Specifically ones that are imbued in like seashells or conch shells?
Shells.
Yes.
Well, it really depends on the. We have like a category system for magical items, and based on destructive capability, that are all protected by the king and his advisors. They have rules in place, so I could look in the sections that you would have access to without written permission from. But if it's not something of cataclysmic or particularly dark magic, then I might be able to find something here.
What about one that would be able to blow a small chunk of a forest and blow it away?
Well, that's not that destructive. I'm talking about much more terrifying items, I'm afraid.
Black stones that someone
Yeah,
made.
if you could find one that speaks of a prismatic conch shell,
I can certainly look for you.
I'd like to look into it.
Prismatic conch. He seems to like repeat it. Prismatic conch shell. Prismatic conch shell.
Yeah, the fucking.
Chick that was with Caleb and then with Veer.
I mean, we can, but I don't know if we'd be able to. I mean, we don't even have a real name, you know?
It's
Dude.
just like a shape-shifty thing with like sharp teeth and getting trees.
Out of character, there's a lot of shit we can do.
I don't know. I
mean,
feel like
no,
Theta
it's
would
worth it. It's worth a shot.
I don't know. I feel like Theta might want to do that. I don't know.
No, it's a good idea. I'll try it.
As you all go
Oh,
through.
that's just a skull.
Sorry, oh shit. As you guys work your way through him, you can kind of like you pull him out, take a little peek at him.
I got an 11.
So
Ah, it's a spider.
14.
he just goes through and he's pulling them out and he's, no, not this one. You manage to pull out one and you unfold it, and it seems to be of the coastline, and you recognize the Alavrin like sort of outline.
Found it! Or something.
At which point he turns around and he puts his little scrolls back and he's like, wonderful. And he comes over, takes it from you, and he sets it on the pedestal. He sets it on the pedestal and puts 2 weights on the corners of the map. At which point he kind of like sits there.
Alright, so what are we looking for?
Lester's Farmer's Gate.
Yeah. What's our, what?
Hmm?
What's around?
All around it. So you have basically the coastline kind of cuts into like a C shape. Okay. Then Alavra is actually built around that little gulf area, that whole area. And then as you exit out to the
Very dusky there.
west, you have the farming areas, which extend for quite a few miles outside of town. And then you get into the island steppe to the south, and then up into like the forest to the north.
We were to the south, weren't
Yes.
When?
We were at.
we? The Duke's place.
Yeah.
Yes, that was far to the south.
Is there any towns or anything to that west?
To the west?
Yeah.
The only thing marked on the map to the west is northwest, which is the Tak Uz, the Earthen Orc tribe.
Greenwich, do you happen to be religious in any capacity?
Well, that's a hard decision to make, isn't it?
Well, I mean, more or less, would you know where the oldest church is? Towards the west. In this
Or in
continent?
Alavra.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Scholastically.
Very
Church movement. Church.
Everywhere. I mean, there are churches built everywhere, all over the kingdom. We have 2 here in town.
I mean, one that would have been there probably 20 years ago.
Maybe even older.
None in this region.
Need to find a help.
Old churches.
Or perhaps even just old buildings.
The church in Galerin would be pretty old, I imagine. The church in Cyrodiil, the church in Sinhallow would be pretty old. I even believe that places like Tefel, I think they have a church there. Elzheim has a church. Fort Coroness was built rather recently.
What's the what was the name of
What?
the place to the north?
Sinhallow.
No, not Sinhallow. There was.
Elzheim.
I'm going back to the last game. Was it
Elzheim
Elzheim?
was the most northern city.
All right.
There's nowhere knows for.
However, as an aside, this whole region is built on the former civilization of the elves, and a lot of their history was destroyed during the war some thousands of years ago.
Are there any known elven ruins in the area?
I mean, they're found sporadically, but the elves that used to live here weren't really of the building variety. They were more in the harmony with nature variety.
I can appreciate that.
Was Galerin northwest?
Galerin south.
Or, I'm sorry, southwest?
It's more almost like dead south. A little west.
But we
Oh.
left through the west to get there, right? When we were originally escorting her.
Oh, my side.
You guys left through the south.
Oh, we went just south, straight south.
That's not the forest then that we had been in previously, is that out the west from Farmer's Gate?
The Orndor Forest?
Yeah.
Yes.
And on this map it's visible, right?
Yes, you can see Orndor.
Is that the ones up to the north?
Orndor wraps around the mountain range.
Could I give a flying kiss?
The Cavella Mountains are encircled by the Orndor Forest.
Never in my
But in between the Orndor forest is farming stuff, between the coast and the...
The farming stuff's directly outside of town.
This is my map. Is that right?
This is my map. Is it right? Let me find out.
Western Farmer's Gate. Old Elven
It's
Church.
not. It's wrong, but it's not that far off.
What do you mean it's
Remember
wrong?
this forest out here.
But what's in the forest?
Last time? Calm down, actually.
I'm sorry, I
Second.
tried.
Pocket trees, monkeys, scrapped with the Manticore one since the lizard people, but I mean, it's
But this is the small version. It's like a little key.
probably the old.
What about beers?
There may well be a bear in there, guys.
Okay.
I think it's a kill a bear.
Yes, there are bears.
There are bears.
What about ale beers?
I don't know if this is helpful. Unless, strange theory, what if the guy we're looking for information for had a sister was out of the city and then we take it back to Gallery and this is just a ploy to get us out of the city?
In which case, sending him information about it would be enough to make him feel like, yay!
Good, my job is done.
Maybe
I
good.
don't think anybody would be that.
That's so convoluted.
But he's also like a, what, isn't he like a master tactician?
He is a master tactician.
Yeah, but he also had. He could just say that we did some crimes and hung us from the.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe we have too much clout now for that.
I don't think we have any clout.
I have no
We have a
clout.
little clout. Oh.
It looks like an ear!
That's
Oh.
why I didn't want to draw it. It looks weird on this one. I have a better one, but it was a quick sketch.
What's that E thing down the bottom?
This one?
Yeah.
That's Gallerin. That's where it is.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
where
so
we were.
that's where we were. Jesus.
Yeah.
Gallerin. Alavra. Cyrodiil.
Well, this is like a.
Cavella Mountains. Orndor Forest wraps entirely around it.
This is just like a truncated version.
I know. That's why I said it was wrong, but kind of good.
Okay. So I understood the gist.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's good for maps.
Do we want to look at nautical maps to see what that temple over here?
We have nautical maps.
Well, then I'm thinking temple would be on the nautical maps.
No, not the temple, but like that area.
Our nautical maps are pretty good.
Oh, there's a temple or something that's floating out in the ocean.
There's a what?
Oh
Temple way out in the ocean.
He starts like running over to like the different sections, and he's like, and he grabs out like a sea map,
Apparently, it popped up one day and
Grabs
a
out
bunch of
another one.
sailors.
grabs out another one, runs back to the table all excitedly, starts dropping them down.
It was by Gallery. Oh, that's where they were talking about.
It was in between. They said it was in between Cyrodiil and Alavra, somewhere in the ocean.
So, this chunk.
Big ass area. Yeah. He doesn't have it listed on any maps. He's been unfolding them like excitedly, like
I didn't think so.
waiting for you to go like, oh, it's right here. It's like,
It's
Oh.
between these
No?
ones. But a lot of the dock workers have been talking about it.
So it
Mostly
might
like horror stories.
be, it might be along one of the major trade routes between these two cities.
well, people go through these routes daily.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Slightly off here.
But also they've been talking about it down in Gallerin. And probably Syria. That Elven City.
Syrian. Syrian?
Cyrodiil?
That one.
Yeah. I have it phonetically written.
Just gave up on the old spelling of it.
And what about Satka?
Or what? I don't know where that is.
We're,
Back burner.
it's not map related. It's more, we're looking for like a, kind of like a shapeshifter, like sharp teeth, yellow eyes.
Possibly a demon.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That can charm people.
Not.
Describes so many things.
Yeah, not really
Oh
helping.
man, I didn't know if that would like.
Possibly one of my favorite subjects.
Alright.
Okay, well then that's good. We're asking you.
Do you remember what she looks like?
She has like short auburn hair.
I mean, did you see her in her not human form?
Yeah, like a ball. No, not human. Celiana, I think, saw her in like a dream.
Ciliana.
When she-
Ada saw her. Fuck.
Yeah, oh yeah, Celiana.
If you could find Cameron the hero, you could tell him.
Yeah. Oh, if we could find her.
Fucking Cameron the
When
bartender.
Celiana first
Well,
saw
he's here
her,
in the city.
she saw like a shift, and there was like sharp teeth.
Yeah. Cameron the hero's in the city.
Somewhere.
So
The legendary.
He's not Pendon Bar.
He just hides. He's like, no, that's not me.
Okay, so it could be a lot of stuff. There's nothing in particular.
Yeah,
Okay,
unfortunately.
I thought that might help. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be one that's
No, I think it's gonna be in the woods.
Okay. Well then that was, that looks good. But, so now we know there's nothing like major to the west. What do we do with that?
Well, what I'm thinking
to the west is the woods.
Yeah.
is that
Maybe there's a thing on the west she's in.
exactly.
Yeah.
If it's the oldest church in the area, which means it would be a former elven temple, and if they're one with nature, it's probably out in the woods somewhere.
Is the Orc tribe older? Do they have like a church? Or like something they worship? Maybe church to them.
They, yeah, we saw the Skybreaker.
Yeah. Well, he was Orc, but I don't know.
But
if
it's an
they-
Orc tribe.
I don't know. I had a run in with orcs. We had a run in there. We ran in. I had a run in with some orcs, and I don't recall them being particularly religious. Although I had never heard of the Skybreaker either.
Every time you look at him, you just smile.
I'm
It's like,
sorry. Yeah, I'll smile at him. So do we want to check out the Orc tribe to see if she's hiding there?
Well, honestly, given that we have an open hunt on cockatrices and lizards,
Do we have an open hunt country stuff?
honestly, combing the forest sounds kind of lucrative, to be honest. And if we cross through the forest up to the mountains, we might be able to climb the mountains and see something.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm going to be able to see anything regardless of what height.
Also, I mean, I'm not good for like stamina.
We'll get climbing gear. Lucrezia, we'll have climbing gear for
I
that.
can flip over.
But that's
Okay.
my
We need,
idea.
we need to get organized, I feel
Otherwise, I don't have any other.
do we need to do anything else here?
I think we've covered everything.
Anything else?
Probably
Anything
buy
else?
some things, some supplies, and then
But there's nothing we need here in the,
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
So do we want to talk to administration? Does anybody need to buy anything in town?
climbing gear.
a grill.
We don't know that.
We should probably buy something that we can cook food.
I have some things.
Lou,
What?
we have griffins.
Yeah.
We can just fly over the forest.
Oh yeah, fuck!
Did
Wait,
you
is anybody
train
gonna
those
shoot-
things?
We can ride them.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
I
in the
think I have a
process.
pot. I have one pot and a bucket
Pot in a bucket.
Pot in a bucket.
for cooking.
Ooh. Excuse me. And then he like begins walking
Oh,
away.
okay.
He just walks out. the dwarven gentleman just kind of like perks up for a minute. He runs away.
And you're just here. Yeah.
He's like, you just hear his little feet.
Should we stay at least? The Minotaur just comes through.
Oh wait, should we maybe
Okay.
follow him out? Oh
No, he said stay right here, right? Okay,
no. We said-
No,
So-
he said one moment and then he ran
that's
away.
fine.
I want to look at
So while he's you can
Go ahead.
Okay, so while he's not here.
Hmm.
Are there any natural landmarks that, like a large mountain or I don't know how to say it. It's fucking corpse trees. It's a fucking
Grove?
clearing grove
Oh.
that actually shows up on a map.
That looks
There
like
he
unnatural
is,
almost.
actually.
Is it like it should naturally be there kind of
Well, even if it isn't, you know.
Trying to find to see if I have on here because I have the map actually in there, but I don't know if it's on here as well.
So yeah, get the griffins, do a couple flies over the forest, see if we can find an open area where a temple might be. I mean, Westwood Farmers Gate, if that's where they went, what better place to hide them than the forest?
Okay, so we want to look at the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go to the Orc tribe at all?
Do they speak common?
I don't speak
Yeah.
Orcish.
I think. Well, did they speak Orcish or Common when you talked to them before?
Yeah. Sort of. It was very broken. I caught a couple slurs. They don't seem to like it very much.
Well, no.
So does that mean we don't want to go talk to them? Or?
Fly the
How about
first. We'll
question mark?
Plan B?
Orc tribe.
Plan B.
So first is the forest. That's we don't know if that's a B. We don't know how many other letters we got for plans. What?
We have a whole alphabet.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to look at the forest. We want to look at the orc tribe possibly. Where else? What else do we want to do?
Oh, while we're out there, cockatrices.
Okay, so forest search is also hunts.
And we could look into these lizard people.
Yeah, I mean, if we can catch one or two of them out, we can definitely make some money for that.
Do we want to? What else do we want to do that involves like town?
Just some resupply, although honestly, if we start flying a griffin,
Well, I mean, do we want to press that dude at all? Should that be on the list? Or not press him, but like try to figure stuff out about him, or press him. Either way, there's two on that means you could go.
I mean, if that is an option, that is
Plan
probably
C.
probably just do it from the shadows because
Okay.
Yes, there is a clearing in the middle of the like the northwestern side of the map along the Cavella Mountains. There is an area that is explicitly drawn as almost like a burnt out husk, like either a fire or something happened there
We
some
should ask that dude when he comes.
time ago.
I'm just gonna pull out a piece of paper and just
Write it down.
if
Oh, I gotta buy more paper already.
if we're going
Unless you
to
want to just say on
Did you?
break into this guy's house,
paper. Okay. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to like bother role playing or if you just said about paper when I was getting analyst.
You'll have to make time for it.
Okay. Okay. Look, we don't have to necessarily break into this house. We just have that option. Okay. I'll listen.
make it plan D.
Z.
We don't have a plan C yet. We'll figure something out.
That's how low it is on the list, huh?
But I am not comfortable, nor do I even want to do that.
Okay.
If it were somebody like Captain Galis, well, obviously not Captain.
Why would we
Galis.
do that?
Not Captain Galis, but somebody
Yeah.
on his level, like that guy that arrested all of you,
Like on lower echelons?
like a guard captain. I'd say we could break into his house and see if maybe we can find something. But this guy is not just a captain; he's the captain of all the captains.
Yeah.
If we do this and we don't find anything, or we're wrong, or we get caught, we're all dead.
Yeah. But the thing is, with the way his schedule is set up and stuff, we shouldn't get caught. There's nobody guarding his house. He doesn't live with anybody.
Best laid plans. Lou.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a potential
So
for us
we
to
did-
fuck up
we
royally,
did
but
plan D. Although honestly, if we do a quick flyover of the forest and we don't find anything, and we check with the orcs and they don't know anything, I say we just send the dude what we have and press on.
I feel like that's not doing our job though.
It is doing our job. I mean, he's not really paying us for anything for this. It's sort of like a,
I
hey,
think
if you find anything,
we don't know.
I'm a
Or he could owe us something big.
right, and that would be nice, but having a duke potentially owe us a favor that he may or may not cash in with us versus being put to the noose because we followed a lead that maybe didn't pan out.
I think it's worth trying to finish at least trying.
I don't know.
Not worth my life,
Potentially.
though. No.
Or it could be fun.
No part of this is worth my life.
No, I mean, like, not potentially worth your life, but it could, we could just, you know, go and break in and be fine.
More than any of
Or
that.
would you rather go around and talk to people about it?
More than any of that, though, Lou. I don't want to even press that option until we find data. Because I'm not particularly stealthy.
I'm stealthy.
You are, but I would like data there as well.
Well, do you want to ask?
3 eyes is better than 2.
4 eyes is better than.
That is what we know.
Anyway, I know. So do we want to to ask people in town about him?
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Okay.
If
It'll
he
bring
is,
more attention to us.
and if
then
he's
if
dirty.
his place gets broken into,
Yeah, you're right.
which is another reason he's super low on the list. The longer we go without asking anything about him, the sooner people are to forget.
Okay. So, what other things we want to try to do?
Make money, figure out where we're gonna go from here. You know, I said more. We can figure out something we want to do with that money.
Ask a ship. Since we needed access to ships before, and we happened to be able to. Plus, we could use it to just go to the temple. Do we gotta go train the griffin somewhere?
It's assumed that you are at some point doing that and like going it back and forth.
Okay. Well,
after I nearly got eaten by a ship.
After we nearly got eaten.
oh, he does not want to be on a ship or by a ship. Okay.
I mean, if absolutely needed to, and we
I just think
decided
it's a good idea.
that we wanted to, we could definitely.
Are there airships?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should do that. It's so not longer.
What happens if an airship becomes alive? Charlie?
It's so bad.
No,
Awesome.
I'd be okay with that. I'm actually contemplating maybe getting a mimic and putting it on the airship.
Don't you fucking do that.
No, if we train it.
Is
from a
airship
young
in the book?
age.
Huh?
Is airship in the book?
Yes. But
I want a pet.
Is it bad?
airships aren't from here.
So there's no airships here.
They're not from here. They can't be made here. It's a
Okay, is there
different.
any that are
It's a different
already-
nation's technology.
So we'd have to move there. Get
You'd have to-
super good with
No,
that.
move, just travel.
You would just
We
have to
just
travel
buy
there
it.
and buy it.
Yeah.
Put the money into it.
Yeah.
So we gotta move there.
I want it to be called Thousand Sunny.
Okay. Not like
I like the
the
idea of an airship.
2000 Mooney or
No,
something.
no, it'll be the 1,000 ton suns.
Okay.
We'll move
So-
there.
Fire of 1,000 suns.
Let's see
I like it.
what this guy says about this little black part when he comes back.
Griffins on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a part.
Mhm.
At which point,
It's great, though, isn't it?
as you're all talking, the you hear the little feet coming back,
I wait.
and then you just. Sorry. Okay.
It's a Minotaur.
No, Minotaurs are big.
Oh, okay. I think it would be
I've never
louder.
seen one.
He's kind of like. Okay. What can I help you with?
Are you okay?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to run. On the other side, it was.
Do you happen to know what this burned out area of the forest is?
Oh, he like comes over and then he like looks, and then he's like, yes, there was it was found like that. There was a fire, and people settled there, and then it turned out to be a bad area. Bad things started happening.
Like
Is it like corrupting ground
Yes.
or something?
Elven burial ground?
We don't. I don't know. I know that they tried to send people in to investigate, and very few came out alive.
Sounds like
You look like you got your adventure butter.
A friend of mine used to say, adventure.
It's quite a famous. Though
Wait, what? What is that though?
might be there might still be a town there. I don't know.
A
Or-
famous what? It's quite a famous what?
Legend, local legend. I don't even. When the first settlers moved there, it said that it went crazy and
Ruined.
bad stuff started happening, and then they ran away
You want to go check it out?
like monsters and I don't know, all
How
kinds
far away, like time-wise, is it from here?
of. I would have to get you the exact number, but it's a ways. You
Like,
can travel there.
days or
Maybe weeks.
so maybe
Everything's-
within-
Days of Griffin.
Everything's. That is, if you train those things, I still see like fresh wounds all over your hands.
Look, it's a process.
Well, no, we've trained them to be ridden.
We're training them to be ridden. We're still in the process.
Yeah, it's still in the process.
And then you
List
train
of
them not to
skills.
eat you.
Yeah.
Here's my skill, Griffin skills
Baby
list.
steps.
There it is. Yeah, nothing's crossed off. Not maybe. Okay.
No, there's a guy that's back at the shop with your griffins that he's trying to make them fucking.
Hey.
Spork.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we can't use the griffins.
We can drink them.
We could take them with us. That way you could.
We could
Train
get some
them.
disposable horses.
Well, don't they eat?
Oh, they like horses. But I'm worried about getting our griffins out there and then like leaving them sit while we like say Blizzard Man around and stuff.
Well, I'm pretty sure if they saw like a big horse, they just.
Yeah. They still don't have flat way. They also just know that when we call them, they'll get free food.
What do we want to know?
Yeah, it's like you have a couple of cats.
Also, we can't. What's name is Kitty Kitty? Do we want to? So since they're not fully trained to be ridden, do we want to risk that?
Yeah, we're gonna take them with us. I mean, especially if it's a couple weeks from here.
8:40. It's about to be break time.
Yes, that's what I was asking.
It's not even fun.
As you're all standing there, you just feel this light little.
Oh no! Is that the Minotaur?
And I just want to put my hands on the door. Are we going to die?
No,
Mhm.
it's quite okay.
What is that?
Probably a Minotaur.
Probably.
Probably. There's lots of things. Sometimes the books open and things come out of them.
That sounds unsettling. We should depart now.
It's
Yeah.
very creepy being in
Thank
here by
you
yourself at night.
Very much. I think we got all the info we need. Dark circle.
I have to fucking Smithsonian.
From what we remember, could we do some of those quests that we saw in the Adventures thing in this like area? Okay, cool.
Totes my goats.
So it was nice meeting you, Grimmage.
I have to help you exit. Could you help me with these maps, though?
Yes,
and he
of
begins rolling them up and setting them in the. You guys begin putting them away in the various spots.
I will check with him if I'm not 100%. Just so.
There does not seem to be an organizational system. That's probably why I didn't know where it was to begin with.
Fair enough.
You guys just kind of begin.
But if you have some free time, if you could look up what we talked about,
Yes.
just send me a letter.
Conch. Rainbow colored. Conch.
And I'm just going to.
Show it to him. Ooh. Quite lovely. Okay.
Little of a chunk of a forest going into it, so
I will look into it.
I don't want it to vibrate me.
Good call.
Perhaps check with a small sponge man that lives under the sea.
Check with the dwarf.
Okay.
So, follow me. Stay close. And then he begins to walk away.
Your hands.
He just begins kind of like trotting away at a decent little little clip.
Ah, jeez.
Thank you.
Oh wait, I'm
Prince.
fast.
What? Ooh, 500 biddies from the Dritz. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ritz.
I hope you're having fun. You want to give somebody like an inspiration or something? I'll allow it.
Oh yeah, what?
I got rid of him for now. It'll come back later. It's gonna be a limited run thing, just in case. So, you guys, you get your little decent little clip back. You're surprised at how like spry he moves, like his little feet kicking out from underneath him.
Is it like 2 of my steps is what it is? Is that how we explain my movement? Like I take long
You run like a
strides.
Naruto character.
He's just got, he's like an escort NPC. His walk is
Oh, yeah.
faster than my walk,
No matter
but
how.
slower than my
But every time we try to get up ahead of him, it just like stops and we're
Yeah,
standing next to him
so
again.
we just have to like walk up on him and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he makes his way through the little labyrinth of books and bookcases, ultimately leading you to a door, and then he pulls out the keys again, and he's like, "Nin, nin, nin, nin." But ultimately, he unlocks the door for you.
Oh yeah.
He opens it. It opens into that hallway, and you feel that rush of wind again, almost like it's connecting to a different area. And as that pressure pushes against you, you kind of like step out, and he follows, and he closes the door with a heavy clunk, and then he just turns around, and he's just like, "All right, door is this way," and he runs.
Thank you very much, Grimmick.
He opens the door. Grab it.
Grab it.
At which point he opens the door for you guys, and then there's this moment where he's like, "Have a night." Coming, and then he closes the door
Oh,
and
I
walks
thought he
off.
like became a statue.
Have a nice day.
You're gonna fuck with me. What are you worried about?
It just stops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's almost like he heard something. Like he's like, huh?
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I thought was happening. So I got really freaked out. Close it.
Yeah. He closed it for you. He like kind of like, oh, okay,
Are
gotta
you
go.
opening it?
Well, I thought we were still inside. So he's like, yes, the door's.
No, I don't think that's what.
No, he lets you out.
All right.
Yo, you try to open that door again, they kill you. The
I
armor.
think his mistress called him.
Oh man, I want to meet her.
So you guys find yourself standing outside. As soon as you exit out, you're like, that was kind of weird. You just hear
Oh man.
as the
the heads. I
the
thought it was
stone
a
heads
picture.
turn again towards you.
What are things unsettled?
Just way loud.
They just kind of hang out.
I see
Hashtag.
it's
Just see.
Hashtag
Alright,
statues.
so as we're walking, I don't know where we're walking through. Do we want to check the Hunting Guild and Adventurers Guild to see if there's anything?
On that note, we're gonna go ahead and take our break right there. So we'll be right back. We're gonna go down for a second, use the bathroom, get some drinks and all that stuff. So I hope you guys are having fun. Thanks so much, Dritz, for the 500 biddies. You're amazing. And we will be right back. So I'm gonna disappear off camera and go set this thing.
Nice. Nice, Ritz. Yes, you can be a bad influence.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bo, 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 bo. That I've never seen. Bo, 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 bo. Hey everybody, I'm Solros. Welcome back. Thanks so much for waiting while we did all the things. And we will pick it right back immediately with you guys exit out of the compendium and you find yourself standing in the District Arcanum. About this time in the morning, since some time has passed since all of your interactions, you see a couple like students beginning to trickle in first thing this morning as the streets begin to come to life with the morning energy. So, yeah, what is the plan?
Well, we need to get supplies for the road, and also food for your griffins until we could hunt something.
Alright.
If we were to fly, how long would it take us to get there?
Let me go check.
I'm sorry. Well, we gotta go also check on Grisco and the Ventures Go.
And we need to get supplies, tents, bedrolls, blankets.
I know we lost.
We did, and then we got hit by a hurricane. And
No,
then
like way after.
Then we got shipwrecked.
Oh, shit, right.
We got wrecked by a ship.
Wait.
What is your destination for the Griffins? Where are you trying to fly?
That burnt out section.
Both.
Okay.
Both what?
He asked you questions.
The destination?
Oh.
Both.
Are they said,
Both is in the plane.
so he said, like, are you trying to fly there? I think we're going to something else.
Pretty sure the griffins is gonna take weeks
Hi, you.
to train.
If you're flying, it's going to take you probably about 8 days.
Okay.
It would be considerably longer by foot because you got to traverse the mountains. But being able to fly, you can circumvent most of the natural habitat area.
Yeah.
Where's our money?
The room. My room.
Oh, you did. Here. Somebody sure. I think somebody wants something.
Why don't you guys get like multiples of those bags?
I don't know if they have one left, do they?
You don't know?
We want us to buy
You could. I don't mind.
I need paper. Alright, what's time? Paper. Supplies. Hunters Guild. And Adventurers Guild. And what else? There's something else. Bag of holding.
You guys gotta buy a lot of food for your birds.
Okay. Supplies / food for birds. Alright, DM.
You're heading towards the.
Ready multiple.
Monolith.
All right. So you guys head into Monolith and begin to collect your supplies.
Well, I need to get my money first.
Well, you're in the place where to get it. So.
Okay, cool.
Money's gotten.
Okay, so you return back to the mysterious chimney in an attempt to collect your earnings. You grab it out of your room where you left it. No, seemingly unmolested.
5,000.
Here you go. If you want to look up your little stuff, paper and everything like that.
Okay.
Okay. And then once you get your money, you exit out. What is your plan of action? You need to get food. I already think I gave you the prices for food, right?
For the Griffins?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Hold on. I just was looking at it earlier too.
So use that to determine how much to.
Okay, yeah. 2 gold per day, 5 silver per day. That was expense to stable the Griffins. So one of those is for food.
$1 gold? Is that what it was? No, there's no. Is that right?
2 gold, is that the food? Or is that is silver food?
The silver, I think, would be food.
So 5 silver for food?
Yeah, I think so. 5 silver for food per day. That can't be right.
Well, that was for the stables.
I think that's for stabling.
Well, no, there's 5 and 2. 5 silver, 3 gold. So like one of those works for food, one of those was just
Oh
so.
yeah, no, but that was for the stable, not for like buying a shit of meat. They just need 4 pounds.
I think it's like 3 silver
A day.
per 4 pounds of meat.
4 pounds of meat per day.
And
Yeah, they
Well,
need
it
4
should
pounds of
say
meat.
in the book how much a pound of meat is 3 silver, and you need to give them how much per day?
4
6 or some shit. 4.
pounds.
4 pounds of food and 4 gallons of water.
So that's 12 silver just for the.
Oh, did I just look at that too?
That's 12 silver just for the meat per day. 1.2 gold.
For like all the days? Is that what
No, that's per day, just for meat, and then you need to calculate water.
you thought it was?
The easiest is by water
They're
skins
not really
have.
ready to be taken out yet.
Yeah.
You can't ride them.
It's training. And if we decide to take a 3-week trip without training them,
I mean, do we want to spend all that time training before we leave, or do we want to leave first?
we're going to leave. We want to remedy this situation as fast as possible. I'm going to take Zone out and train him,
Well, we've been training.
and
Are you doing like intensive
I'm
training?
going to continue training him while we're on the road.
Okay, what all do we want to get?
First, let's swing by and grab a bag holding.
Cooking stuff. Oh yeah, okay. We'll see if they have an extra.
So with our money,
Mm-hmm.
we will go to the Enchantress.
Okay. You head over to the Realm of Enchantment. It's pretty close by where you're already staying.
Cooking kit.
Cook's utensils.
And then I believe is 1,000 gold for the bag.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there another one?
She will have another one, yes.
Fantastic.
Do we want to skim that off the top?
Now,
Since it's for the group.
Yeah.
the thing I'd like to know, ma'am, is does food spoil? Like, just
Yes.
things. Alright, so if we put food in here, it will
That's
spoil,
why I wanted
Mhm.
the bag cold down too.
right?
But that's gonna be really tough.
also, if it's it'd probably be made to order, so it'd take.
Yeah, that was the thing. I have to get the supplies for it, and I have to. It's like 1,500 or something. So, I was gonna do that once we got the money, but I didn't know if we wanted to do that as like a party thing or if it was just like out of my funds. So,
Alright, so I'll drop 1,000.
Okay. You drop 1,000. She waves her hand over one of the cases to the left, at which point the shimmering fades, and she reaches inside and produces a small satch that matches the one that you already have, and she places it down.
Each now.
Well, we had
5,000 each,
5,000.
and then 1,000 divided by 4.
3.
So take 300 from profit.
Well, we've used the party funds because we started with 20.
Yeah, we 21,000.
Yeah,
And then we
we've
took the.
used,
So we
party
got
funds.
5, and then so now we have each 5,000 minus 300. Cook things. I don't see cook things.
Cook thing?
Yeah, cook things, cooking utensils.
It's in the tools section, that's why.
Not
Yeah.
here. Ooh, okay. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. All right, I'm gonna make a list.
Okay.
When they head out of the Enchantress shop, I'm just gonna launch up and put it on the table.
And where are you getting 300 from? It'd be
Can
250.
you identify this by chance?
250.
I'm just going. I didn't do any batty, but.
It's about 10 gold to identify.
Put out 15.
Check my notes. Yeah. She will charge you 10 gold. She picks up the instrument. She begins walking away. She walks through the back, sets it down, and begins to. You can see little flits of arcane energy just as she begins to kind of like focus. And you wait.
Oh, that's good. That's like
Well,
And
my
after
sister
about
will eat with
10 minutes or so, she returns with it. She sets it down, and she kind of like. It seems to be their whoever designed this is quite powerful. It has 2 unique traits, but unfortunately, due to the ability, I cannot discern what the second one is. I was only able to discern that if you place your finger over this hole and blow into it, it will create a cone of destructive force in front of it that will destroy objects in front of it. However, the secondary function, I was unable to determine what it does.
It won't work.
Seems more powerful than
Just take part in the way you
you would have to
It's all
use it in order to determine what it did.
What?
Second one.
Can I give her a 16 gold?
Oh, no, don't worry.
Thank you.
I haven't given you that.
It's like having a
I
tiny
have,
in my pocket.
I have the bank total, and then I have what's set aside as mine. You have whatever
Today, ma'am.
14,250 divided by 3 is. So give me a second.
That's what I'm just asking you. Alright, we need, how many tests do we want? We have, they're 2-person tests.
I have one.
You already have one?
You have, give me 4,750.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
4,750. Can I ask her what supplies I would need to get her to do the bag of holding already?
As you come back in the shop, remember,
How about you heard?
in and out. Did you say you guys had went out? I thought you guys said you went out.
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
I was
well,
doing math.
Oh,
as
I'm
you,
waiting for them to leave.
yeah. So, as you ask her, she explains that you need to provide her with materials
Yeah.
that are strong enough to create the bag. We're talking like a tensile strength, like a strong fabric or something, leathers or something like that. Preferably multiple, because it's going to be like a multi-level enchantment.
Okay.
She will need, it'll all have to be masterwork, high quality items. And then she will need objects that represent the cold that you are trying to achieve. So, ice, snow, things like that. The colder the object, the more powerful the enchantment will be, but you will need to provide those objects to her.
Frozen heart of mentors.
You'll need at least 5 sources.
An ice dragon's testicles.
For the cold?
You will need at least 5 sources for the whole thing. So,
It's gotta be big.
materials, masterwork materials is one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will need at least 4 others that represent what the object is meant to do. So you can get anything. You can get her 4 ice cubes, but the enchantment will not last very long, and it will not be that powerful.
Well, if you want, so it's about colding, but then like also preservation.
So, if you need to find something that represents that.
Preservation.
Salt?
Like an eternal hourglass.
An elf.
Or a fossil.
Yeah, maybe.
Tatum.
Okay. Or cold.
Or alternatively, we find something that stays cold forever, and then we just put it inside of a bag of holding.
No, because it'll just float away. Right?
Well,
It's not gonna like that stuff when you put it in doesn't like just sit in the bottom of the bag, right? Right.
It's in an alternate dimension.
So it's like the ice cube's gonna be in the corner and your
all-
stuff's gonna be like rotting.
It's all in, I don't know if we'll find out.
Well, wait, we can ask her. How does
No,
that?
it's in an alternate. The way that the bag of holding works is that it's an alternate dimension. You cannot reach into a bag of holding and just rustle around.
Right.
Nothing will happen. You have to literally go, I put gold in here, I want gold.
Huh.
Otherwise, what'll happen is you go, huh? Because you just reached into the ethereal plane. That's all you
Yeah.
did.
So we can put that.
So you could be like, I'm going to take this ice cube, put it in here, and then go, I'm going to take this meat and put it in here, and then pull out the meat and have it go bad. Like, because they're not in
Yeah.
physical proximity.
Yeah.
but I don't know if you guys just get salted meat.
Yeah.
Well, no, because there's other stuff. It's not about just that. Like, if we want to bring stuff back from like these hunts for proof, I want to kind of, or
Oh, they
like,
don't need to be preserved, though.
yeah, but
Honestly, we
or
should bring back tailbone.
like when we were doing the cockatrice thing with the eggs, if we wanted to bring eggs to stably, like,
Yeah, but he wouldn't want them cold. They need to stay warm.
they need to be alive though.
Yeah. which means
Well, we don't know the incubation
putting them,
process.
well, putting them in a bag of clothing would definitely not.
In general. I think, plus, would it be like the bag of holding, or no?
No, the stately stables.
What do you mean?
Yeah. What, I'm sorry.
The bag of colding?
Yeah,
No, the bag of colding is just going to be an actual bag
okay, but it just it stays
that
cold all
everything
the time.
stays cold in. It's not going to be like an extra dimensional anything.
Could you, yeah. Okay.
If you have a way to access the, elemental plane of ice, maybe it would be an extra dimensional
That'd be
bag.
cool.
You just start throwing trash into the
That'd be the
elemental plane of ice.
And Yeti walks up, woo! I don't know,
And
it's
Yeti walks
Mile
over.
into the winter side, and they're like,
Who keeps throwing these?
Imagine like a forest ranger
these
though,
stakes
like,
right here.
like the
it's
ranger
just
outfits, like,
into
Anyway,
Like,
back, so I put in,
Palace.
I put in half of the pit,
I'm gonna kill
Oh,
you.
I'm so mad.
as well as your gold. So you have your gold.
Yeah. Well, I'm keeping track of it, but
I
you're
you
holding
He's
also
it.
good.
have a bag of holding.
Oh, that's right. We have one now. We just got one.
Two
Oh my
Don't
God.
put them
together.
together.
Don't put a bag holding in the bag holding.
Yeah, it'll.
Ooh, yeah, don't do that.
I saw an engineer do that. It's fucking intense.
It's pretty
It's
good.
awesome. No, an engineer devised a way that to create a D&D oriented arrow with a bag of holding and like that fucking that portable hole where when the arrow is fired, it hits, collapses the two together, and it creates a fucking like 50-foot just void where it doesn't matter what anything's AC is, it will instantly just stop existing.
So you're holding our gold in that one?
You're holding half of that gold
Everybody?
bag with just about 4,000.
Just yours and Theta's.
Yeah, yours and Theta's are in this bag.
Alright.
So when you're ready, I'll give you the numbers.
Okay.
Okay, so you have your gold, right?
Yeah.
And then this bag of holding has
Yours.
4,000. Your bag of
Mine.
holding.
Mine. Okay. That's,
4,750.
is that Theta's?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Yeah, we really need. Oh god, I'm gonna make a separate section just for this guy.
Math. This
Well,
game's
no,
been a
no,
lot of
and
math.
we can, if we're like, who's got this thing? Wait, I do. It's
So I
mine.
have my inventory section right here.
Well, I do too, but now like I want to make sure like for the bag it's separate. Okay. Okay, so back to the thing. Stuff we're trying to buy. We need
Just go get myself some hardtack.
10. How many tents do we want?
I have one.
I don't have one.
They're two-person tents, which means if one of us is running
So we need one more.
night watch, we don't need one more.
Yeah, but if we're all sleeping.
Out of character, Theta's not coming with us. We'll probably be back before he does get back. In character, Theta never sleeps, and one of us is going to be running watch.
Okay, so we only need one.
So we only need one, which means we already got one.
If we have to clear in there, can we?
Yes, they're meant for two people.
But like if we all three like had to like hide from the storm. Could we do that?
As you recall, Lou,
Not like that kind of storm. Like a normal storm.
What are we talking about?
Could we all squish into a 2-person tent if we had to? He's
Yeah,
sick
yeah.
as a hat.
Yes.
Yeah,
Height wise.
done that in person, right?
Okay.
be curled up at the foot of the tent.
So we don't need it.
Well, he'll be curled up at the foot of the tent, and then as we're sleeping, he'll crawl up and like go to sleep on like probably my chest, and I'm just like,
Or between us and just curl up. Is he
and then
dying?
he'll wake up and he'll just sit on my fucking chest and like try to steal my breath. Some shit, I don't know.
I don't think we need much else, right?
That was oddly specific.
There's some things that I do need.
What?
I'm treating him like a cat.
Yeah.
I need to get a cloak, a new lantern,
Do we know these?
a blanket. No, I've got this.
Oh.
I got this written down. I'm just
The
like,
prices?
I need no, not the prices.
I have to tell the prices.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
I don't want to be fucking. I'm not calculating it.
Okay, so cloak. What else?
A cloak, a bullseye lantern, a blanket,
You don't like it?
and a bedroll.
You don't like one?
No, I lost it to the sea.
Oh yeah.
The greedy sea.
It's a greasy. Fine.
And then we need the rations
For the griffins?
for us.
Okay. Well, we're cooking.
We don't have a hunter anymore.
Do you know what?
Oh, sweet. Glad you were.
You're confusing his
I'm a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know how to track
Are we voting on the group? Voted on.
The puns.
Let's get some rations anyway.
Okay.
Get some rations.
It's always
thing.
good. I don't know how the wildlands are. Like where I'm from, it's mostly like plains.
You want a pot?
I mean, well, I'm fairly decent at hunting too, but we used to have
How much
a
rations?
goblin compatriot that could literally just walk out in the woods and he'd come back, have food. Pretty cool. I miss him.
How many rations do you want?
Actually, I just roll really well.
That's usually a good staple. It'll last for a while, and then we just need to get an obscene amount of food. Water.
So we need
Oh, I have 5 rations on me still.
Yeah, probably. Salt wounds. I mean, 10 pounds of salted meat.
You can buy it like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to give it yourself.
Pounds of salted meat, some water for the griffins.
Alright, so the water, how do we buy the water?
In
A
a
barrel?
barrel? Yeah, barrels? Not kegs.
Barrel. How much is in a barrel? Like how many days worth of water?
50 gallons.
50 gallons.
Barrel is really cheap.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's
How
the
much
full
does it
weight.
weigh?
A lot.
Because
70 pounds.
your griffins are not carrier griffins. They're
No, no, no.
riding
Can we
griffins.
These will
put
be-
it in the thing?
We'll have a cart.
You can put it in the bag. What's the weight limit on the bag, by the way?
But, I mean,
I think it's only 50 pounds.
and we can't. It's, you know,
The
Oh,
mountain bag's
yeah, I
not
see
big
what
enough.
you mean.
we'll tear the bag and then it'll
Well, I
explode.
can look all up here. I don't know if it's in here.
No, it's not in there. It's in here.
Shopping!
Shopping
I have
episode.
capacity for a
Yeah.
lot of other stuff. Barrel holds 40 gallons. Basket 2.
So 2 barrels, that'd be 80 gallons, which would be enough for 10 days. Ideally, we'll be able to find food and water on
500 pounds. 64 cubic feet.
So if we could put it in there, we could fit it.
But how much does your gold weigh?
Yeah, we're gonna get a cart for this.
Very, very heavy.
We had a cart with a horse, and we'll have a griffin ride next to it, walk next to us while we train them.
So, wait, how much?
And
To not eat the horse.
well, that too. But worst case scenario, the horse can just be emergency rations for the
Do
griffin.
we want the barrels or no?
Yeah. Well, we want barrels of water.
I don't know.
I could just steal some from the docks.
Can we drink
It's runoff.
that?
There's runoff and there's. They have like little fucking
I don't-
stations just set up.
I don't want to steal them from the dogs.
They should tell you how much a barrel of water is.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is barrel.
Well, get the barrel and then go to a well. It's
Yeah.
free.
As long as nobody got cholera in
I think,
Let me roll for it.
I think the
there.
animals.
Cholera.
Yeah. The
Cholera
animals
roll.
will be fine.
Ooh, that's
Against the cholera.
you might get cholera.
Fuck.
You could put lantern.
It's a hooded traveling cloak, but I'm pretty sure it's just listed in there as cloak.
It's gonna be under traveling clothes. 15 silver or some shit.
Sweet.
I think.
Traveling clothes.
They're shopping
Which
for
is-
some goods.
Which is good, because at this
Gonna
point,
get
my
a
fucking
couple
clothes for some
things.
money are probably in tatters.
Is the clothes in the same section?
No, it's under adventuring gear. So it's after armor.
No, I was just looking at it.
Yeah, it's an armor key, the travelers. Or no, it's under C for clothes.
There's clothes.
Yeah. There should be a couple different kinds.
Traveler clothes.
Mm-hmm.
2. Sure you don't have everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't fucking need it. I can see in the dark, but other people can't. Sometimes. And sometimes I can't. Especially when some
You said one-
Suddenly
You
lizard.
said the meat's 1.5 gold per day or something.
No.
That's just for meat.
Yeah.
You need to prep the water as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just made an alchemy circle.
We'll get salted meat.
Okay, so not for that. Where's the phone? I don't my phone's out.
Just kidding. I don't care. It's not fun. It's garbage anyway.
Alright.
Okay.
You guys get to know each other and stuff. I'm gonna be like, ooh, I like this background.
Ouch. Oh, that's the best one there.
So you guys start meandering about town, collecting your items, correct?
And then I go head over to the Stately Stables.
Oh, fuck.
That's fine.
Head over to Stately Stables. Got it. What do
See
you?
if I could procure a horse and buggy.
Horse and buggy. Let me go ahead and get out my own. You'll need to go to a Cartwright, my good friend.
How many days a week?
He makes carts.
Yeah, I'll go get the horse first.
Yeah. All right.
Or Chocobo.
Let me go ahead and get my
I
mount.
mean, actually.
Well, whatever's cheaper.
So heading over to Stately Stables, you see obviously that same like exterior primarily build of the
Let me know what the totals are.
stables. You hear the griffins kind of like squawking at each other from their two pens separated next to each other.
I'm just
Next to them
gonna
there,
pull out my staff and do an eagle shriek over there.
they both they begin to like look around, and they're all like looking around intensely. So as you approach, getting closer in, you see some of the attendants are currently running back and forth. They're running food, feed, and everything. And then Mr. Stately does not seem to be in yet. However, one of the younger attendants comes out and is just like, "What can I do for you, sir?"
My compatriots are going to be coming by to pick up their griffins, but
Mhm.
also we need a horse that can pull horse or animal, giant hamster, a minotaur, or something that could pull a cart.
Well, we have ponies, we have mules, we have war horses, we have riding horses, draft horses, camels, axe beaks, and we do have some wagons. They're here. That'll work relatively well, I guess.
How much is a draft horse versus an axe beak?
Axe beaks are about 150 gold, and the draft horses are about 125 gold.
I could get a horse. What? No, I have 150. I only spent money on the enchantress, so I could get one axe beak. Well, when they get here, I will buy an axe beak though. I just give them all my money.
Okay. As you do, he begins kind of like he like stops you like, oh, okay, and then he has you come over to the office where he gets out like the locks box, and
He's a car salesman. He's like, oh, okay.
and then together you guys begin unloading the gold into this like lock box. At which point he drafts up, he pulls out a bill of sale, and he signs it off to you, including. He heads outside. He kind of comes. You go with him out to the side. At which point he realizes that they don't have any axe beaks on display right now. So he's like, "I have to run to the actual stables, though, and I'll be right back. I'm really sorry." And then he runs out. Do you have a preference? Do you want?
What are their plumage?
They really only come in. They have like yellowish. They have purplish, and then they have black.
I'll go with purple.
Okay, and then he immediately he grabs another attendant. He's like, "I fucked up," and then they like literally run. They go sprinting off. While a couple of the other attendants just kind of like, "What the hell?"
I just sit there.
And then they go about their business. But yeah, you hang out for a bit. Eventually, your comrades, having collected their random accoutrement for the day, they regroup with you at Stately Stables. And it's honestly about that time that he comes back. Two attendants come back with a hand on, and you do see a large bipedal bird with the beak comes out and then hooks upwards and then downwards, almost like an axe head. And it kind of towers, but it seems to be, its temperament seems pretty good. It just follows along, and then he has like the bit and bridle with it, and he's just like,
Hinge of that, hinge of some keys. Yeah, I gotta tell you, this X-Speed, we just replaced its knees, we just replaced the claws on the bottom. You're getting a great deal, you're getting a great deal. Also, there's like $84,000 in hidden charges. Ring the bell! Ding ding! We got a sale!
He only gives you a lead. There's no bit bridle or saddlebags. There's
Just like
no.
a real car sale.
There's no.
Add
Saddle.
10 rations to
I
your
just-
inventory. And
All the other shit that
It's like head turns, you know, and it's like doing the. And then it like brings its head down closer, and you feel the like sort of like bone, almost like structure of this thing. It's pretty sturdy for a nugget of a, but it just kind of like
Do you want a biscuit too?
No, I have one.
looks at you curiously.
Yeah, it might
Is this
look
a
at that.
male
This
or a
kid's got like
female?
a
No,
pod,
it's a male.
plate,
Okay.
a bunch of other shit in it.
It doesn't have a name if you'd like to give it one.
Strong contemplating.
You have to put it on the form
Oh, shit.
whenever we're the bill of sales. That way we have an official
Ah,
thing for it.
one side can use a cookie pan, the other side can use a plate. Oh,
Wait, what? The one side of the paint can be used. So you cook it. You're like, all right, now time to put it on a plate.
for us,
Just dump it out everywhere.
You gotta flip it. You
This tin
flip
box contains a cup and a single cutlery. The box clamps together, and one side can be used as cooking pan, and the other can be used as plate or shallow bowl.
I think by sides it means there's a left side and a right side. Now.
Yeah.
And you top it and you clamp it up.
So add
It's an old school mess kit.
10 rations to your pack.
Yep.
10.
Okay.
And who's carrying the cooking utensils?
The one that can cook.
Rupert.
There you go. He writes.
God damn it!
He writes it down.
Fucking hell.
Oh, that thing you just got?
He writes it down.
It's good.
Do we want to buy some potions or we can afford to? Okay.
There were none.
What?
Before you waste your time running out there are no more.
Oh, that's right, because of the war.
There seems to be a war on still.
What? No.
Oh, it's not over yet. What the hell?
Can we say that we fill their barrels while we're out and about?
Yeah, you say you stopped today at
Yeah, I got the Rupert here to pull the cart. We just need to get a bit right on the cart.
Can we
And
get
a
a
saddle.
small cart? I don't want to attract too much attention.
Yeah. It'll be fine. I mean, I'd like something with a thing on it.
Yeah.
We have some carts here. They're
Like a small.
they're not like crazy. They're not like a.
No, we just need something to pull these barrels.
Oh, that'll work with that. We have carts here. We have a wagon. If you're looking for something bigger and more room, a wagon.
No, we just want something like small.
Well then, yeah, I have a cart.
Something small and covered.
That would be a wagon. Carts
Can
are
we put
open.
Can we put
Or
like?
just
Is there?
It's like a trailer.
Well, I mean, we can get a cart and then put like a.
Yeah. Is there like holes on the cart so you could stress something over top if you wanted to?
No, we would
No,
have
but
to
you could nail it in if you wanted to, or
Yeah.
tie it down.
drape it over
That's
the
fine.
side. Yeah.
Do we want to
Or a chariot. If you're feeling crazy, you can get a chariot.
Yes. Come along. Do we
We'll
want?
have to go to our secondary lot where we have all of our lined up.
Don't waste my time.
And then we're gonna joust.
Did you want? Do we want to camouflage it too somehow before we leave? Like put leaves on it or something?
Carriage, perhaps? Cart, carriage,
We'll get
You
a-
said no.
wagon, sled. I don't know.
We'll get a cart.
Have this commission.
We'll get a cart.
It's like
we'll
a
get-
it's a
tie
winter
down a
sled.
cart.
It's got no wheels. You just
Don't wanna cover it?
across the
Put
ground.
some dirt on
Over
it,
the
or-
steps.
We put dirt on it and we end up in the forest. It's gonna stick out. We'll camo it as we need to.
Okay.
But I mean, we're gonna have 2 big griffins and an axe beak with us too.
I also picked the one
Secondary
with the
question:
vibrant.
if you have that mask of the wild,
Mm-hmm.
could you hide your cart? Or
No,
just you?
just yourself
Okay. All right.
and your animal companions.
Everything else was for you.
If only you were a wizard still, then you could just cast fucking invisibility on it.
I don't know at this point. Would I have that access to that ability?
Probably.
Yeah, it's a 3rd level spell.
Stop! Okay. I think we're good.
We're good.
You don't want anything? You
Who's-
want-
Wait,
no,
who
we
has the
want,
cookie
we,
utensils?
want to get a cart.
Okay.
You get the bit.
And the bit bright on all that other snazzy stuff.
Barding? Would you like any barding?
I'll put them in.
You want to ride it eventually?
Sure.
And a saddle? Side bags?
Are we doing ribbons? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So you just want a regular cart,
Yes.
just a trailer.
Yes.
Okay. It's gonna cost you about 40 gold
Okay.
plus tax.
Do we need to tell you how much gold we spent on this stuff?
It's 52 gold for the cart. But
Do we need to tell you how much gold we spent on this stuff?
I am trusting that you are honest.
We are. Well, I am.
Okay,
I
so
tried to do
the
that, yes, I'm
cart's
being honest.
52 gold. Then you have like shitty carts here. Saddle, depending on you just want a riding saddle. Regular 25 gold pieces.
Okay.
Saddle bags are 10 gold pieces. Bit and bridle is 5 gold pieces.
Okay.
So add all that together. And if you want some feed, it's 1 silver per day.
40, 25, 10, 5.
52, 5, 25, 10.
Jesus Christ. Alright, I got the 52. I didn't get anything after that.
All right, 52.
Yeah.
I'll just add it all up right here. What's 15 plus 25?
Yeah, I can't tell.
40.
Yeah.
So 40. 40 plus 52. That's it.
40 plus 50.
And then for you, sir,
That I can do.
feed for the thing, its feed bag is for 1 day worth of food is 1 silver. So you can, so however many days worth of feed you want to give it.
You mind spotting me?
No, absolutely. You're part of the team now. I feel like 10 days should be good.
Are you willing to-
I hope that we don't need to use it. It's mostly 10 days on the off chance we go 10 days without being able to find
Well,
anything.
plus we'll have extra.
So,
Well, the axe beak is not a meat eater.
no, you can. I've seen chickens do it.
Veg is
Is
out.
he a chocobo?
Huh? He's an axe beak.
Imagine being
He is
a chocobo.
Dungeons and Dragons version of a chocobo.
Right, but I mean, he can like pick at the ground and shit, right? I don't know what chickens
His face is an axe. If he picks up the ground, it just goes bunk.
What is-
do
how
they
does he-
eat? I wonder. Do they eat termites? Like, do they break into fucking trees?
That's a good question. I wonder if it's a monster manual. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm not looking it up right
We'll
now.
get 10 days of feed and hope that we can find fruits, vegetables, or other
Oh,
things.
so if
that
we've
they
been
eat.
going to train these griffins, do we have to roll or anything?
No, because you're already they're already
Listening to us.
good boys. Couldn't think of a better way to put that. I'm sorry. They're already the good
Good
boy.
boys.
Good boy.
They're one of them good boys.
Those good boys.
Pork, pork, pork.
Alright. So now we're going. It's time to go to Dark Circle in the
How
forest.
much is it? That was 5 silver per day.
For
One
what?
silver.
1 silver a day, so.
So
we'll go.
for feed,
I
yeah.
hate this. Fucking map.
Feed.
I'm sorry, man. You guys wanted
He's got
things.
10 days more.
I'm gonna go ahead
Oh,
and do
I
that.
will. While we're on about, can I send a message to the father that I'm going to be out of town for
Could be out of town for a while.
for like a week?
So you have a pencil.
Yes.
We're longer than a week.
Yes, you can totally put that in.
Oh. 8 days there, one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
One way flying.
So
That's flying. It's
8
like
days back.
it's weeks walking.
no, I know, but like we're not walking on it. We're flying.
We're not trying to already trained
Oh,
it.
fuck. Why are we waiting them then?
The train.
To continue training them.
They can wait like a week.
Mm.
It's not like the mind is gonna degrade in them, right?
Alright, hold on. Just so we're clear. It is several weeks to walk out there. If we don't take the griffins, that is several weeks that they're not being trained.
Oh yeah. But like,
Which means if we walk out there with them, by the time we're done, we might be able to fly
so is
back.
he just walking with the axe beak for weeks?
No, he's riding with the axe beak.
How, is that the same pace?
We're taking a leisurely stroll.
Stop crying.
It's a vacation. We're going for a little hike in the woods. It's like going up to Zion.
So it's 8 days there and 8 days back?
No, weeks. Probably
No,
3
if
weeks.
we fly.
If we fly,
If
Okay.
you fly, it would be 8 days. Yeah.
more likely it's going to be 3 weeks out, 8 days back, maybe.
But it's 8 days there and then another 8 days back? Or 8 days total?
There is 8 days, and back would be 8 days.
So we do not take us.
That's if you're flying.
We only got 10 days?
Yes, we got 10 days because we're going to hunt and find food for them out there.
It's very sad being right now.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
We're good.
Well, I have 15 days for the Russians. But I'm just wondering if we got enough meat and stuff.
We could hunt.
Yeah, we can.
We'll hunt, and that's in what I intend for us to do. The rations are strictly. We'll have 10 days if we manage to go 10 days without finding anything.
And then we can hunt for the griffins if we need to.
Yes.
Okay. There's a part of something.
Here you are.
Okay, I think we're good. I will take.
So here you are again.
Can I use my
What?
We have extra pencils.
criminal contact thing to get a message?
Yeah,
Okay, so do I have to use paper?
you can get him a message regardless.
Okay.
What is
Well, I
your
don't know if I have
message?
to mark off the paper.
Write it down. Give it to me.
On paper? Or this?
Right. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, what's the plan? So you guys got all your stuff. You gather up. It's been a long journey. Finally, you find yourself having the axe beak is affixed with the cart. At first, it seems a little uncomfortable, but then once it's kind of like, oh, okay, sets it down, gets everything set. All of the
That it's on her belly.
just kind of like stands there.
Don't pee on me.
Once you get it all set up, he seems ready to go. You check out the griffins. Grab both of them. So now you have 2 griffins, an axe beak, a cart, and all your supplies loaded up on the cart. Your things are good, and you're ready to explore the wilderness. Where are you guys going?
We are going out the western farmer's gate
Okay.
towards the forest.
Towards the northwest.
Oh, we're just
the
going.
burned section
Oh,
of the
man.
forest.
All right. So you
We
guys
got all
have
our hit points. We got
Yep.
everything we need.
got everything you need.
Road trip!
Vacations all we have.
Lizard man pop out of Stately.
Oh wait, fuck, no wait, we wanted to check the Hunters Guild and the Adventurers Guild before we left. We did vacation back. Rewind.
Vacations all. They run back into town.
I wanted to do
There is nothing new. So what do you want to know about those 2 things?
what quests? Just
Refresher.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
Reason.
They want from the Lizard Man
They want information, tails, and
information, the rubies from the salamanders, and fiery blood.
Correct.
And then the Hunters Guild. I don't know what they have because last time they had like
So fire newt blood, rubies from the salamanders,
yeah. The other 2 are-
information about the different types of
Yeah.
creatures, eggs,
Oh, eggs.
drake eggs specifically, a live drake or drake eggs.
A live drake or drake eggs.
Mm-hmm.
That's new.
that's probably for Stately Stables.
And then there is an open hunt for lizard man tails, which are 5 gold each. Now, when it says lizard man tail, it doesn't mean the entire thing because they get long. It just means like the tip of them just grab.
And as you recall, the farmers told us they'd still pay us 1 gold if we brought them cockatrices.
Yeah.
That is true because they were still being annoyed by them.
The drake, does it have prices for the drake or drake eggs?
No.
Okay. And then
But Staley offered us, 5 gold for a cockatrice egg, so I feel like we'll probably get a pretty decent.
we looked at the Hunters Guild like before we left, right? Before.
All there was this
Oh.
snub-nosed panther. And a couple others.
Yeah. Oh, for this other, I have an old thing here where it was the drake egg quest was 200 gold each.
Yes, I do have that written down. I just wasn't sure if I told you yet.
And then, yeah, Lizardman, 5 gold pieces. A live drake is 1,000 gold.
Fact.
Fuck. I'm gonna take this.
Vacation's all I ever wanted. Vacation gotta
Hey, we
get
had a
away.
little bit of a vacation at one time.
I was a lizard man, and we just recently lost 2 of our friends. And it was a shitty vacation. This one we're going camping in the woods, ghost stories and shit. It's gonna be great.
No beta.
I'm gonna find out what Axbeak eats.
Yeah, we're gonna need
Yeah, we all are gonna find out what an XP eats.
I figured I'd get a bird instead of a horse so that there's griffins.
It's like a bird horse, right? Trainer.
We don't want it to be.
And it's like an emu with an axe.
And then from the Hunters Guild, there was the Pug-Nosed Panther, the Manticore, and the Giant Shark.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to go find him and be like, hey bro, what's going on?
The Manticore, as you know, one of them was already killed.
Yeah, yeah.
We're much stronger than we were then.
Much
We're 2
more
levels higher.
powerful.
Magic.
So powerful.
What is that?
What?
I don't have any of the any of the hunters stuff here. Just the Adventurers Guild.
Okay.
It's gotta be somewhere.
So you guys exit out into the beautiful Alavrin.
Okay.
We're going to be.
T-Rex. No.
Oh, frickin' darn it!
Gee darn it. Had a rough. Okay, so you guys exit out the Western Farmers Gate and begin following the road for the most part. Now you remember on the map that area is, so the Western Farmers Road goes basically like this, whoop, and then the other one goes kind of north direction towards like Ladine.
Yep.
Where you're going, there are no roads. You're going to need to basically, you follow it along, you pass a lot of farmers working in their fields, along with a number of hands, and as you kind of just roll around, kind of like walking with the griffins in tow, they kind of like interestedly watch and look around.
Yeah. Oops.
You,
Forgot to give you this.
you find yourself traversing beat ground, open skies. It's clear and nice out. As you walk further in, you ultimately, after a few hours, find yourself exiting off paved road altogether and just begin heading further in. But despite there being no road, you actually do notice that there's a lot of tracks leading this way, from horses, buggies, carts, and carriages, because you remember that actually slightly south of this is where they're moving the new capital to.
Yeah.
So they've been slowly making trips this way. So the road pathway is still relatively nice, I should say. It's not like horrible to traverse.
Okay. What's he doing?
Space.
Was he reading? Oh, you're reading? Oh,
Yeah.
is this the guy I gave the message to?
Yeah. Looks like
Thanks, love.
he looks like a Disney villain. Yeah, I got it, darling.
You want some water?
That's right,
What time is it
Bullpet.
now at this point?
It's by the time you've left town, you're probably looking around like 10ish in the morning, 10 or
Is
11ish.
that early still?
Yeah, you like a lot of running around, but it's been a lot of running
I
around.
guess
But I'm
we open at,
assuming,
like, dawn.
I know that there's been a lot of backtracking, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're doing it in
Yeah.
a logical manner.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you find yourself exiting outside of town and following the road for the most part of the day. And I don't know how long you guys want to travel for before taking like a first rest period, but a day's worth of travel is 24 miles.
I think we want to do
think
that, right?
that's correct. I think that's right.
Do you guys, how do you guys feel? Do we need a rest?
Travel paces.
We're good, but we did just get this bird. And
Oh, we don't run the
our
bird.
griffins are probably unaccustomed to travel.
We just get the
So
That's
we'll
what I'm
go
doing.
He's leading he's pulling
But
the
like,
cart.
is he like looking around? Is it
No, he just
like,
like 16.
forward.
We'll get like 16.
well, hey, when we stop, maybe we'll see if he eats.
We'll go 16 miles. We'll give it like a decent pace. We'll just get very easier.
Okay.
Wrong, easy.
It only takes you about a day before you enter into the Orndor Forest, the outside edges where the trees are kind of sparse. Because as you remember, the forest starts kind of like, it's a gradual progression. It's like trees sparse, and then it gets like a little thicker, thicker, and thicker before you end up into the actual like deep wood.
Yeah.
All I remember is like sparse force that we can't hide in, so I'm not used to gradual build-up.
However, as you go to settle in, you begin to put up the kind of like unburden the axe beak. It kind of just chills for a minute.
Feet.
But I would like to like.
It kind of like, as soon as you unburden it, it stretches. You see it kind of like stretch out its legs and kick itself a little bit before it kind of like just like sits down like a bird, legs underneath it, and just kind of like.
Fine.
And then
Okay.
begins eating.
But what does it eat when it's not eating that?
Maybe bugs.
Take the food away and see what it eats.
Later. I'd rather not.
Okay.
It just chills there and begins kind of like relaxing and eating.
It's a lot bigger than me. Ask
Just
for a
like-
face.
It's got an axe for a face.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it just kind of chills there. You begin kind of setting up a little camp. You tilt the cart down so it's the struts go into the ground so it stays
Stop it.
in place. But yeah, what would you like to do for your evening?
I like to go
Carouse.
You'd like to go hunt. Okay,
Oh,
go ahead and make
can I
a survival check.
With him?
I will.
You can.
I'm not very good. Oh, we're all
I
good?
have survival.
Should I say?
One,
Okay.
you just make sure nobody eats
Just wanna
anybody
see
else.
what's going on. No, I want to stay and like pet the griffins, but I want to look around and like listen to see.
Keep your eyes open.
Also, I want to check around to see if like lizard men have been through here.
Alright, with his help, do I have...
Survival check, sir. Yes.
Yay. That is going to be a 23.
23. Yeah, going around, there are a number of ground squirrels. There are a number of like small birds that you can kind of like take your time. Do you have a crossbow or a bow or anything? Somebody hungry?
That was my stomach.
Oh my god, that was anime level of loud.
You heard the things?
Huh?
You heard it in the thing?
I heard it from here. So using your bow, you would be able to plink a few of them out of the air. However, something interesting that begins to strike both of you is odd. You're not really sure if it's odd yet because you're not from this area, but you think it's weird because you've traveled through here a number of times now, is there are giant mushrooms just chilling underneath the shades of trees. And by giant, I mean like this tall. Like just like mushroom outcroppings that weren't there prior. Thick-looking stalks just...
That's interesting.
They're definitely new.
What?
They weren't, this is new. Step back from it.
Oh.
Well, usually they, when I was a kid, I used to kick mushrooms and they shoot spores out everywhere. So probably not do that with a big one. It might cause a tornado.
Well, I don't like it. It bothers me. They're very big. I've never seen them this big, and they weren't here the last time we cut through this forest.
If you want to throw rocks at it, I won't go.
Rock.
You guys scoot back for a little bit and just
Maybe like a good 20 feet, well, 15, and then just like...
make an attack roll disadvantage, please. Or I'm sorry, no proficiency. You said normal attack roll, strength based, due to throwing a rock. 12. Oh, let's see the tensile strength of a mushroom. What would that put its armor class? Well, it's about paper, so maybe in the 10.
Is it just a mushroom?
Huh?
If I find out...
Well, I feel like
I'm looking
because
up
you said that out
tensile.
loud.
I'm looking up tensile strength. So.
I feel like if it was a creature, it would have had an AC already.
Just screams.
Okay, what did you roll?
I rolled a
12. It's the rock goes boop, off this thing and it kind of like wiggles a little bit, and then there's a and it just like pops up out of the ground and it's like just roll away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine you laying down and rolling away, but it just stands up and these big black eyes open and it's just like it's just like yelling. And it begins running around the tree, panicked. And then you hear a couple other ones go, and they begin standing up like,
I'm out.
and just begin running away. And they're just like, and they all just like stare and watch you just take off running. And that's.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
And they're just standing there. And the one's just like, just running around the tree, patting its head. And you just take off running. They do not seem to follow or pursue. And as you roll away, you just see its feet run by, and you're like, I'm running too.
Oh my God.
And you just scramble to your feet and take off running. And as you're watching around looking for signs of lizard men, you don't see signs of lizard men, but you see tiny little footprints that are like almost like perfectly cylindrical. And it's confusing because you've never seen those before. And you're just like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then you just see two people coming shrieking through the woods. Ah! Just running. And then you reach back to the camp.
I'm gonna
panicked.
reach for my hammer when I see them running out of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
He just runs by.
We're back to Lover.
I hop into the cart.
Oh my God!
Hi.
What did you find? Is that what
Mushroom people.
What? Can I think if you eat a mushroom, like, are there any mushrooms that you can eat out in the wild that have psychedelic effects?
Yes.
There are, but not here.
Let's go on cow patties.
You don't know what I'm thinking. Did I ask the sky that out loud? I mean, there's mushroom people.
We threw a rock at a bunch of mushrooms, and they got up and started screaming.
And that made me scream, and then I got scared because then more than one started popping up.
Is that a thing?
And I ran away.
You're unfamiliar with it, but could be.
They're about
There's walking cats and flying monkeys, so yep,
Guess so.
sure could be.
And it's probably like some dancing where I
Well,
talk.
did they try to like attack you?
No,
they just screamed.
I felt bad about it, so I apologized while I ran.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. So there's living mushroom
Okay.
people.
Well, I mean, if they're chilling here, then that should mean it's like safe enough, right? That they feel comfortable sitting.
Well, we thought they were just giant mushrooms.
I was gonna pick one and bring it back for the.
Did you guys get food?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. You got scared.
Listen, I take care of business before I take care of fear.
Okay.
Taking care of fear.
Who's gonna cook?
Know how to skin them.
You can skin. You wanna try cooking?
Yes.
I'll give you the cooking.
Alright.
So night begins to settle in as you guys
And I'll feed the griffins.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mark it
And
off.
I figured it was-
I'll hand her the meat that we procured.
God.
And you hang out in the night. Go ahead and make a we're gonna go ahead and say and cooking. We will do a dex check without proficiency because you don't have tools, right?
Right.
You have the tools, but you don't have a proficiency in those
did
tools.
How much meat did you guys get?
Yeah.
What?
How much meat did they get from their hunt?
Oh, they got enough for whenever you hunt. It's just enough food for you guys for that meal for that
Not
time.
for the griffins too.
No,
Okay.
it's only for party members.
Okay. So 9 days worth of griffin food. I'm not gonna keep track of the pounds and shit. I'm gonna keep track of like days.
I rolled a 5.
Oh lord.
Anime cooking.
Andrew, did you let the meat get black before the music ended?
No, the music ended.
Oh, and he just
He's
kept
like-
on.
I don't know. If
Mushroom.
Oh, it's on fire.
I don't know if this is done yet.
Did you do it?
Da, 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 da,
Yeah, exactly. There you go, guys.
Yeah, it's a little burnt. I wouldn't even say it's a little burnt. You know what? I'm gonna say that it's like
It's
well
edible.
done instead of like
Oh,
It's like
that's
leather.
edible. That's
I
nice.
rolled a 5.
it's edible. I mean, you can fucking pretty much eat anything.
You can drink gasoline. So yes.
With a will, there's a way. So it's just not not the best. It's definitely not that great. And as you settle in to eat and kind of chuckle off your weird encounter, you guys are kind of like scrunching down your food, and you hear.
I'll give my
Before that,
I just
before any of that, I would like to use bite
Mhm.
magic to chew up for me and then eat it.
Just keeps attacking it. You're like,
Good.
it's a very weird display to watch. It's like he's eating outside.
Wait, do we see you do that?
Oh yeah.
What does that look like?
It looks like giant bluish jaws clenching down on this piece of meat for no reason.
For no reason.
I'm pretty sure
Is it actually it's not chewing the meat?
It's not chewing it, it's just literally hitting it with fucking.
it's just the teeth.
Did you just waste the spell or anything on that? Okay.
No.
Better.
And you just see the silhouette of a mushroom person, and then another one sticks out from the woods, and then another one steps out, and they're all just kind of like staring at you. And ultimately, there comes like about 8 of them in the dark, kind of like silhouetted, and you just hear this sound. And that is where we're gonna end it.
Oh god.
So thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you guys had fun. We'll pick it up next time with what happens when the Mycondids approach.
Sorry, there was so much math and shopping.
Yeah, there was definitely some downtime in there, but that's okay. We had to get some of that stuff.
But next time will be action filled because there's mushrooms.
Well,
Mushroom people.
better not be action filled. We're nice. Be diplomatic.
Well, I mean, we're just gonna be
Diplomatic.
traveling and stuff. We're not just gonna be sitting.
So you guys
shopping.
successfully got some shopping stuff done. You got yourself prepped, and then you're heading out to explore the darkness.
The darkest dungeon.
So
the darkest penguin.
we will be back next Monday for Monster Hunter Monday and more Bro Brigade and more hunting,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty excited for. We'll get some more stuff. Also, I think next week there should be some new event quests.
With
Besides,
even more dual blades.
Yeah, next week will be the Autumn Festival with a giant.
does it start next week? I thought it was on the 4th.
Oh, so the guy's armor that's in there, that is the armor that they have it for.
Oh, is it?
And then,
I saw a picture and it wasn't the same
is there
one.
just no talkback till further notice?
Correct.
Okay.
So, we will see you guys next time. I'm going to disappear off screen, so thanks so much for hanging out with us.
It's just be you and
And I'm
us
sorry.
talking back.
Well, cause I thought like we didn't do one with Ben when Ben was here either. So. Did you put the camera?